What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, Adam Costas and Hit Squad Productions, with episode 5 of the Premium Takes podcast. Usually this show hosted by me, Adam, and Zion Zenith, but Zion's running a little late tonight, and he'll be in a little bit when he gets done handling some business. We'll also bring in the big blue corner. Rodney, what's going on, man? How you doing,
Rodney,
brother?
What up? What
what it
up? What's good,
do?
fellas? What's going on, man?
What it
You
do?
know,
How you doing?
you know,
What's good? What's going on in the
enjoying the
chat?
day.
What's going
Some of
on,
my favorite
Logan?
people
Ash?
on the show that we run, and this is great. Great to have you guys on. Thanks for joining us, and let's go.
Got
Hey,
Logan
thanks for
Ash in the chat. What's going on, Wales? What's
Anytime,
up,
fellas. Anytime.
what's up, Levance? Thanks for stopping through, fellas, everybody. And we do got a question up here in the chat from the beginning, right from Big Blue in the Bronx. Wants to know her thoughts on Bobby Johnson coming over from Buffalo as the offensive line coach. Let you take it away, Adam.
Well, I think taking the Buffalo's guys is great with familiarity. They had the 14th ranked offensive line in terms of passing, so I like it. I mean, I heard they were going to go after Doug Marrone and a few other guys, but hey, if you want to keep taking off Buffalo and Buffalo is allowing you to do it, you might as well bring them down, because that way you have not only your coach that knows the plays, but then now your offensive line coach will know the philosophy of your head coach, and it all works out. It's not you don't have to teach the coaches your methodology. So I really like that. I'm really interested in seeing what he's doing. But look for the Giants, I think, to poach a lot of other players and coaches from there. So I mean, talks are they may have Ken Dorsey coming along. I don't know. I don't want to confirm or deny, but keep taking everyone from those teams. They won a lot of games, and their offensive line performed well when it had to. So those are my thoughts, guys.
Yeah, for me, man, I mean, I really like it. I mean, Buffalo, they have a stout offensive line over there. I like their passing game. Their running game, I know a lot of people have questions about that, but from what I've read about Bobby Johnson, man, I mean, it seems that Bills fans are really high on this guy. They're really high on him. A lot of people, from what I've seen, at least in the Twitterverse, have said that, he's done a lot with this offensive line. And for the Giants, man, I mean, we haven't had an offensive line in damn near a decade, man. So, I mean, for me, I love it. I know a lot of people want to say we're picking off, the Bills coaching staff. We're becoming the New Jersey Bills. Well, for the last decade, we've been the New Jersey Jets. So I mean, if we're gonna be the Bills, I have no issue with that, man. I like it.
Listen, pluck them. They won. They won games. They were in the divisional round,
Exactly.
and they were championship game 2 years ago. So if it works out, I'll take the whole staff. If we need to.
Absolutely.
My take is, hey, if everybody's in lockstep, there should be no reason why this offensive line and this offense can't produce. If they get Ken Dorsey, that's a plus in and of itself right there. You got an offensive line coach of Bobby Thompson. I'm sorry, Bobby Johnson. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm all in favor for that. So I'm glad that they are at least trying in some aspect to start on the right road where this offense is concerned. That's what I like to see.
Yeah,
And
that's what you want to see. You want to see that this team going in the right direction. I think it's easier to bring your own coaches in because no one has to get caught up, really, right? On offense, you know what Dable's looking for. You don't need to worry about fighting with him or getting into fist fights or Royal Rumble fights, because your coach and O line don't work out. So I hey, listen, man, keep taking them from that team. You've built it up for a reason. There are reasons that they're good, and he's part of that reason. So.
Couldn't have said it
yeah,
better.
and I concur with everybody said, man. Like, I'm just loving we seem like we're building something positive right now. It's looking like it's going to work, man. I mean, we got to wait and see, but continuity is key, man. These guys are going to definitely be on the same page. Not going to have just like different, everybody's not going to be pulling one way, one guy pulling one way, another guy pulling another. These guys are definitely have one vision, and it's looking really promising right now, man. This is something we haven't seen from the New York Giants in quite some time. So hopefully we can get it together, man. I definitely would love to get Ken Dorsey over here as well, and I'm just on board with it all right now from what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing in the beginning, but I'm not going to get jump on the hype train until I actually see the product on the field and know that this thing is working.
Yeah, I'm the
Feel you
same way.
there.
Man.
Feel
Same
you
way.
there.
Go ahead.
But I'm just gonna say what's up. There's a couple more people in chat. Mark the Blue Giant, thanks for stopping by. Philly
Thanks a
B,
lot.
thanks for stopping through, fellas. What's going
Appreciate
on, Slay? See you up there, man. D Mac Warrior, appreciate you, brother.
What a great name, D-Mac Warrior.
It's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of hard.
Man,
But
hey, where you going? I'm going to battle with D-Mac Warrior. Let's go.
well, fellas, we're gonna jump into the first topic of the evening. We're gonna start with championship weekend. The first game, Cincinnati Bengals, Cardiac Cats 2.0
Boom, 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 boom.
versus the Kansas City Chiefs. They won that thing 27-24 in an epic overtime game. Not quite as epic as that Buffalo and Kansas City game a week ago, but still, nonetheless, a very good game. What are y'all thoughts on this game, gentlemen?
Well, I guess I will go first if I'm still working here. There we go. Oh, yeah, I think it was great, man. It was a great game. When they're down 21-3 at the first half, you're like, how are the Bengals going to pull this off? I thought it was a blowout, and then of course, the Bengals kept clawing and scraping, and then that play, on the 1 yard line or whatever it was that Eli Apple made the stop, that came back to bite them. You never thought it would, but imagine if they take the 3 points there, right? They kick the field goal at end of regulation. They're going to the Super Bowl now. Instead, they're kicking a field goal for overtime. See how these little details work throughout games? I mean, that probably was the biggest play of the game because then they went back into the locker room and said, what the hell are we doing? We could beat this team. And for some reason, they just turned it on. And it was as if Kansas City short circuited. They were just like, oh, we're playing the Bengals. We're gonna choke now. And for basically the remaining 2.5 quarters, they didn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, the Bengals just kept coming. Man, let me tell you something, man. Joe Burrow needs to get some respect put on his name because that boy is elevating the entire team, not just the offense, the entire team. The defense gets inspired by that boy. I mean, look at him. That defense played inspired the last half of that a football game because they knew they had Joe Burrow on that side. And then they make a play at the end of the game because they know if they get the ball back, the game is over because Joe Cool is bringing them downfield. I know we use Joe Cool for Joe Montana, and I'm sorry, Joe Montana, you don't be playing right now. So these young bucks have no idea who the heck you are. So we're going to steal it right now and use it for Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow right now is Joe Cool. And that guy is making that entire team better. They're playing lights out. They went to T. Higgins. He stepped up in a big way. I'm waiting for Tyler Boyd to kind of get his rhythm, but Joe Mixon did enough in the run game to kind of split it up. And that defense, man, everybody says how bad that defense. Lou Amarillo, hats off to you, my friend, because you not only put your team in the Super Bowl, but you shut out the Kansas City Chiefs in the second half of the football game. All they did was score 3 points, and you sent your team to the playoffs. So congratulations, hats off to the Cincinnati Bengals, fellas.
Yeah, for me, man, I agree with you 100%. AC, um, Joe Burrow, man, he's that dude. He really is that dude. I mean, he is carrying that team. He took 9 sacks against the Tennessee Titans and still got the dub. I mean, that's unheard of. And I love what they're doing over there. To be real, they got some really nice weapons, and I'm a huge fan of Jamar Chase. And they did what they had to do. They actually came out a couple players and said, at the end of the half, they went into that locker room with all the momentum. They felt that they could compete with this Chiefs team. And I mean, my biggest issue with the Chiefs, it's always been this way for Andy Reid, is that sometimes he gets a little too cute. You're at the goal line and you're doing three straight passes. Run the ball, drain the clock out, run the ball, punch it into the end zone, man. Instead, I
You're
mean, I
right.
believe they're at the 5, and then they're kicking a 43-yard field goal. And it's like all that pretty stuff, like it's nice. It's nice for the highlights. It looks really cool. Believe me, I love it. But this is you're playing for something big here, and there was a lot of opportunities for this Chiefs team to win this game and really put it out, um, and they didn't. They
Do you
didn't.
think they were? Do you think Andy Reid was gloating, like, "Hey, I'm going to score this touchdown and be up 28-3"? Like, because my mindset would be with you, right? Run the football, you don't get it, you kick the field goal, no harm, no foul, right? Instead, it seems like, "Hey, I'm Andy Reid, and I want to bury this team." Maybe he was scared of the Bengals. Maybe this is why he went for it, because he knew they were going to come back in the game. So, you know, good point on that, Rodney.
I mean, it was a good game all around. I think you hit on you actually kind of stole my thunder there, AC. I think the biggest turning
Sorry.
point in that game is what went down before halftime and them not taking those 3 points. Because at that point you gave all the momentum to Cincinnati right at that point. I think they got a bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say arrogant, but they got too cocky in themselves to not go for, I mean, it's 3 points. You know what I mean? It's 3 points. We're all, you don't leave points on the field, regardless if it's a touchdown or 3 points. You don't leave it. So in that sense, I really think that going into halftime, that one play gave a lot of momentum to Cincinnati. And the second half, I liked what the defense did. Tariq Hill had a awesome first half. Second half, they really took Tyreek Hill out that game. So now you got to be focused on who? Pringle, Hardman, McKinnon, Travis Kelsey, and they did a banging job just pretty much playing the game the way they're supposed to play. Take Tyreek Hill out of that game, and now you're gonna make Mahomes. He's gonna have to produce somehow, some way. The second thing that I saw where I mean, Kansas City could have put that game away if they had just ran the ball majority of the time in the second half as well. You know, I get it. Mahomes is, you want to put the game in Mahomes' hand and let him do what he's got to do. But like I said, for me, it just started at that right before the halftime. Not going for those 3 points. I just saw a totally different Bengals team come out in that second half. And shout outs to Joe Burrow. He is the real deal. I got to give him that. He really is, man. So congratulations to the Bengals on an amazing win because I didn't have them going that far, but I'm glad to see that they are.
And of course, I definitely agree with pretty much everything all you gentlemen have said on this panel. Joe Burrow is definitely the real deal. People need to stop questioning this man. Even just trying to say he's only been in the league 2 years, you can't put him up. I'm putting him up there because he's proven it week in and week out on the field, man. Like you said, he will not be denied, man. Even you saw a week ago against Tennessee what he went through, kept picking himself back up and just kept getting the job done. And this week it wasn't as rough for him physically. He didn't take that kind of a beat down. Obviously, he didn't get sacked like 9 times again. But Joe Burrow is just a tough kid, man. And with the weapons he has around him, this Cincinnati team can keep these things together, keep this all together. They're primed to be maybe a potential dynasty coming down the road here, man. Because I just can't. Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, T Higgins. I mean, then the fact that you have Tyler Boyd and he's only your third receiver. I mean, shit. I mean, this team is absolutely loaded. I mean, if they get a few more pieces on the defense, get that offensive line fixed. This is going to be a scary football team for years to come because all these pieces are still very young men. These guys are still young guys with a whole lot of football left to be played. And I know it's a little tough in this day and age with the salary cap and the free agency and everything. But if somehow, some way they can hold these pieces, keep this team together, they're going to be a very dangerous team for years to come, and they will be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, like you said, they just it's like I don't know. Andy Reid sometimes can't get out of his own ways, like you said. His squad I think it was his squad that said that. Yeah, it's like, come on, brother, you gotta run the football, man, a little bit. You gotta chew that clock up some. You can't be cute all the time. I know I get it. You have who I feel is the best quarterback in the league, and Patrick Mahomes. But at the same time, you got some pretty dangerous weapons as well, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey over there. But at the same time, you gotta be smarter coach in that situation, man, and help your team out a little bit. Because like you said, that field goal, if you kick that field goal before the half, that all difference in the world right there. All you had to do was just do it. So just head scratching move right there. So
Do you mind if I
And
make a little point real quick?
yes, sir.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it today. A lot of people talking about it yesterday, man. What the Bengals are doing is incredible. And it's very unheard of from a team that won, I think it was like a total of 6 games the last 2 seasons, and now they're in the Super Bowl. I've seen a lot of Giants fans, and I'm only saying this because I'm seeing it. It's popping up on my timeline. Relax, man. Do not
Yeah.
expect this team to go to the Super Bowl next year.
I'm glad
Please.
you said that. I'm glad you said that.
A lot of people, they're saying, oh, they drafted Joe Burrow last year, which is true. The quarterback is important, but they had T. Higgins, they had Joe Mixon, they had Uzmanzana, they had Tyler Boyd. They had pieces there, and they got the quarterback. They got to address the offensive line, but even if they don't win the Super Bowl, what they're doing is incredible. But again, it doesn't happen that often. That's what I love about the NFL. Anything could happen, but just Giants fans, relax, please. Y'all gonna give me a heart attack. Relax.
I
That's all.
mean, anything is possible, man. His squad.
Oh
Anything
yeah,
is possible. I mean, the NFL. I mean, think about it. As you said, Cincinnati, they were what, four? How many games? 4 games a year or two ago, and then this. So
Yep.
anything's possible, but I agree with you 100%, man. Giants fans just need to sit back, relax, and most importantly, be patient with this new regime that is coming in and doing what they have to do. You just can't expect them to, pull a rabbit out their ass and then, what? Hey, we Super Bowl talk already. No, give this new regime a chance to come in here, fix what needs to be fixed, and then take it from there and rock with them. You know what I'm saying? Because you already know come the season and we're a losing season, everybody's going to start calling for, hey, get Joe Shane out of here, get you know
hmm
Dabble out of here and everything else. Nah, you can't do that. This is something that everybody's been asking for. It's been done. Now we just got to give it the time to come together, and then with all the pieces that's there, and that's going to take time as well. It ain't going to happen overnight. It ain't going to happen in one season. So you know just be patient, guys. Be patient.
we'll get
But
man.
I
yeah,
want
we'll
to
get
address
there.
that. I want to address that too, because a lot of people have been doing the same thing. Oh, our schedule's easy. We're going to win all these games. And I'm like, bro, just try to win 6 games. Just look like a competent football team out there. Then once we do that, we can put the pieces together with the new salary cap next year and all these people coming off the books and really make a run at the thing. But this year, all I want is competency. An offense that moves, that I'm not asleep at halftime, because I'm hoping that something's gonna happen. Someone said, "Hey, Adam, do you miss Odell Beckham?" Heck yeah, I did, because you know what? I couldn't leave my seat when that guy was on the field because I knew something spectacular was going to happen. With this Giants offense, man, I could go do laundry. I could go do something and know the score is not going to change because I'm not going to
Oh
miss
damn.
it. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm just saying. And so for me, like, let the new regime, like you said, Rodney, get acclimated, get their feet about them, let them build whatever they're trying to build here and not focus on let's get to the playoffs. Because if you focus on getting to the playoffs, when you fall short, people are going to come at you and they're going to be like, well, this regime promised this and blah, right? Just say, listen, we're going to work hard. We're going to put the pieces we need to put in place, and let's see if they put their money where their mouth is, right? Let's get the offensive line fixed. Let's get everything fixed for the next quarterback, and obviously this quarterback now. But really, they're not really building for Daniel Jones. Let's be honest, okay? You can't build for a guy that may or may not be here next year. You're preparing to set him up so he either fails or he succeeds, depending on how it's built. Now, if it's built correctly, no excuses. You can do what you want then. But let these guys have a chance to feel it out, because if we put the expectations like we did last year, 12-5, and they go 4-13, you know, what do you expect? I expect this year 6 to 7 wins. If you can give me that and be a competent football team when you walk out there, you know where to line up. You're not running QB sneaks on 3rd and 9s. Okay, you're doing actual football type stuff with the offense in layers. I mean, we have these weapons. We haven't seen them. I mean, we have Kenny Galladay. You know how many touchdowns he has? He has the same amount as me, you, hit squad, 0. You know what I'm saying? We're sitting on
0.
the couches, and we have the
He
same amount of
owes us some
touchdowns as Kenny
touchdowns.
Galladay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
Kenny Galladay definitely owes us some touchdowns. I'm just saying. So
He needs to order some takeout, some touchdown takeout, because this guy we need to dial up something for this guy. And hopefully he's not washed, because there's rumors going around like, maybe this guy wasn't fit. I don't know what Jason Garrett was thinking when he brought him in here. When you see him in Detroit, all he's doing is running posts and 9 routes and flag routes all up and down the field. When he gets here, you're running a curl. I mean, the guy has no foot speed. You want to run a 6'5" dude forward and then backwards. You know how hard that is to do? I mean, we've all played football. We all did, I don't know if we've all played, but, I played. If you guys have played, you understand how hard it is to do that little turnaround pass, right? Running downfield is easy. That's what he's built for. 6'5", let those legs run like that gazelle that he is, man. Let him go downfield and eat up yards. Don't make him, take those big legs and all of a sudden, you know how hard it is to stop a horse? Think of it like that. You have a thoroughbred running down the racetrack, and then all of a sudden you're telling him to stop and turn around. You know how hard you have to pull those reins back and everything like that? He's a thoroughbred. He needs to run. He can't be running these little crappy routes.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
I'll say
absolutely
this.
right, man. I mean, when you look at just Galladay in itself, since we're talking about Galladay, I mean, he could get down the field. I mean, he's good at the post routes. I mean, you brought him in to be that 50-50 ball catcher, and I think you threw it to him downfield once, and that was Jake Fromm. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, I will say this much, man, and then I'll let Mac take over, man. That's all I want to see. I want to see us, extend plays. I want to see us look like a modern day offense, a modern day team. I'm not worried about the defense, because I think that even if Graham leaves, we will be 100% fine. Whether that's Vangio, Martindale, I'm worried about this offensive line. I'm worried about us, establishing a foundation. And I know, we can go back and forth about Judge establishing a foundation. It didn't work. He is on the unemployment line right now, making good money. So that's all I want to see. I want to see progress, man.
Well, hey, real quick, Mac.
yes, sir.
Adam, you're a little bit more optimistic than I am as far as the record. And I'm not taking anything away from that. It's just, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I don't care about the record because I know it's a new coaching staff. Is going to be new players coming in, new scheme, everything. I'll tell you what I would like to see. I'd like to see what Detroit did by being able to put up points, move the ball. You know what? If they go out there and they lose every damn game, fine, so be it. Lose every game. We all understand what the situation is. But if you can show that you're putting up a fight and getting out there and doing your job, I'll be happy for that. You know what I mean? I just want to see some sort of progress where this offense can move that ball. The defense can stop whatever is necessary. If you win games out of that, so be it. You win games. But the key is to being able to see progress. Detroit really didn't have anything, and you saw what they did. And Adam, you've commented on that a number of times where Detroit is concerned. I'd like to see that. Let me see that you moving the ball down the field, utilizing Daniel Jones the way he's supposed to, being able to get good blocking in front of Daniel Jones, being able to get good blocking for Saquon Barkley. So I can be proud again to be wearing my 26 jersey as always, but just be proud of just where the way the Giants are and what direction they're headed in. That's what I want to see. Again, I'm optimistic with the 6 and 7, but hey, I want to see progress where this whole entire team is at a whole, but especially the offense.
That is absolutely good stuff, fellas. Because I am definitely on board. That's my keyword this all season as well is progress. Because we just look like a high school team, especially the last month of the season, particularly. We just look bad. I felt like Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or Michigan, any of them guys could have messed around and beat us during the month of December, the way we looked this season.
They probably
So,
would.
so yeah, I just want to see a lot more progress, whether that's 5, 6 games, 7 games, whatever. As long as it's progress, and even if we don't win that many games, but we at least look like a competent team that just needs to get the right pieces in place to get to that next step. That's I'm all good with that too. But we definitely got to make progress. And for everybody else watching the stream right now, I just wanted to let y'all know we are all proud New York Giant fans. And I know that last topic was about the Bengals and the Chiefs, and we went off on a whole tangent about the New York Giants. That can happen all the time because we are all proud New York Giant fans. I just want to let y'all know that for anybody that didn't. But we are about to move on to the next topic on the docket, and that's obviously game 2 on Sunday, the 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams for the 3rd time this season. And the Rams finally got that 49er monkey off their back, man, and advanced to the Super Bowl with a 20-17 W. We'll start with you, Hit Squad, on this one, bro. Let me get your thoughts, bro.
I really liked what I saw, man. I mean, it was a really nice game. But I think ultimately it came down to Jimmy G being Jimmy G. I mean, I think he's a pretty solid QB. I think that he will get another shot at another team, this offseason. But I mean, they had opportunities. I mean, they had a dropped intercept, the would be interception, the 49ers. I mean, that was like right to him. Drop that ball. One thing that I had an issue with in terms of Kyle Shanahan was their rushing attack. I think they only had 50 yards on the ground, and for a team that prides himself on establishing the run, and they use Debo Samuel a lot in the run. I mean, they really weren't getting it done. And I think Kyle Shanahan, man, and I think the 49ers in general, you know, they may not rely on Jimmy G because they have a strong foundation over there, a strong offense, a strong defense. Um, but to me, man, I mean, it seems like they just wait for something to happen with Jimmy G. That they're hoping that he doesn't cause an interception or a fumble late in the game. If it happens early in the game, they can overcome that. But when it really comes down to it, man, I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just what happens with Jimmy G, man. I mean, and that's nothing. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but yeah. But I'm happy for the Rams, man. It's nice to see Sean McVay get another shot at going to the Super Bowl. Hopefully, he learns from his last experience being in the Super Bowl against Belichick. I hope that OBJ can get a ring. But I will be very honest with y'all before I pass it over. I got the Bengals in the Super Bowl. That's just me. I'm feeling really good about this team, man. I mean, Joe Burrow, that dude. I really don't think that's gonna phase him, man. Being in them lights. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Was
Uh,
I like the second game. It was I mean, what what can I say? Aaron Donald talked his defense up, and basically, he got him to the point where it's like, hey, they showed up and showed out. So uh, as far as Jimmy G is concerned, I mean, what can I say? I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I really honestly don't. I think San Fran should roll it back with him again. But he's shown that what he's a starting quarterback in this league. For how long I don't know, and whatever team that picks him up, because if San Fran rolls with Trey Lance next year, he's going to have a lot of offers as far as some of these teams looking for a competent starting quarterback. But shout out to the LA Rams, Sean McVay. You know, as far as a prediction for the Super Bowl, I don't know, man. Based off of what I saw with the Rams yesterday, and just as far as I can see, I'm not going to sit there and say they're a complete team, but they're showing to where you're going to have a hard time both on the offense and the defensive side of stopping them. So I might have to go with the Rams with the Super Bowl win there.
Right. All right. Well, I guess it's me. So this game was a tale of two Jimmy G's. That's what I'm going to call it for the 49ers. because this is the reason why they drafted Trey Lance. And to be honest with you, if I was Kyle Shanahan, I might have incorporated Trey Lance in this game to just switch it up, because the defense for the 49ers played one of the best defensive games you could play against a team that's that explosive. So to keep your team in the game like that, and to have your quarterback throw inaccurate passes. I mean, the last play of the game, Aaron Donald is sacking you, and you are throwing a potato to your receiver. What is wrong with you? Just take the sack and go for 4th and 50. At least you have a better chance of getting a flag than throwing it up like a hot potato to some random ass. I mean, he's your player, but you're falling on your face trying to make that play. Those are the type of Jimmy G brain farts that are going to get you on the bench. All right, and this is what has plagued him his career, is in big spots. Let's be honest, fellas, he has not played well in the playoffs. He played well enough to win games. The Cowboy game, he threw a crucial interception at the end of that game to get the Cowboys back in that game. Against Green Bay, he did not play that well to keep them in games. Special teams really won him that football game. And then finally you get to this game, and he's methodically moving down the field, but he's not doing anything great. And he missed a wide open kill that would have busted the game wide open. I mean, those are throws that Jimmy G has to make, and this is what has plagued him through his career. And it reared its ugly head against this one, right? When he's, game on the line, you're going downfield, he's making bad decisions, he's rushing the football. Credit to the Rams pass rush. I mean, it woke up in the final minute of the game. A Von Miller sighting. He was on a milk box for the first three quarters, but then he decided to show up. And then, of course, Aaron Donald. What a way to close a game out, right? You get your team all fired up on the sideline, and you're the one that ends the game on a walk-off interception because of your pressure. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's what the Giants need. I'm not trying to get back into the Giants, but, what your team needs is closers. Joey Bosa is a closer on the 49ers. Aaron Donald closed the game for the Rams this week. My Super Bowl pick, I'm riding that Houday Nation, man. It's a team of destiny, and I'm going to go with it. And, hey, if they crash and burn, fine. You can laugh at me all the way for a year that I picked the wrong team. But, hey, man, this Joe Cool, he just elevates everybody. Man, you watch him on the field, and it's like it's poetry in motion because the whole offense is better with him. He did not flinch. He got sacked 9 times in a game and got up and said, okay, what's next? In this game, the game is on the line against probably the best team in the AFC, probably the best team in the last 5 years to play in the AFC, at least with the quarterback, right? And he goes in there, and in Arrowhead, we're not talking about anything. We're talking about in Arrowhead, slays a beast. That's one of the hardest places to play, probably the second hardest place to play outside of Lambeau Field, right? So for me, and I think Tyler Boyd is going to be that guy that's a game breaker for them. It seems like the Bengals have found some type of hero, and their defense, let's be honest, man, their defense is playing, worlds better than their record indicates. And I think that's the same thing that happened with the Giants, right? In 2011, their defense wasn't great, but they played well when it mattered most. And that's what the Bengals are doing. They're playing well when it matters most. So I'm going to ride with them boys, and let's get the city of Cincinnati a Super Bowl, a well-deserved Super Bowl trophy.
Well, yeah, I agree with what most of you guys said. Once again, Jimmy G, the 49ers found out what happens when you leave the game into Jimmy G's hands. When you're not putting it away with your bread and butter,
You end up going home.
Yeah, you're not putting away with your bread and butter, and not for nothing. We're beating up Jimmy G here. I can't even remember who that D-back's name on 49ers dropped that interception, man. Hit him right in his hands. I mean, you got.
That was a weird name. It's hard to pronounce, man.
Yeah, you got to make that play as well. I mean, things like that come back to bite you in the ass. As y'all, like you said, you can't put the. I mean, Jimmy G is I would say, competent enough starting quarterback, but he's not the guy. He's not really the guy. Like he needs everything else around him to be aligned and work perfect and be working right. And when he can't put the weight of the team on his shoulders in the clutch. He's just not that guy. He's not Eli. I'm sorry. Had to do it. Had to go there. But he's not. He's just not that guy. And the 49ers found that out the hard way on Sunday, unfortunately, man.
He wears number 10, but doesn't act like a number 10.
I got to give props to my guy, man, Debo Samuel, man. Great season for that young man. He was on the sideline, absolutely in tears at the end of that game. Couldn't get up.
Because he has Jimmy G as his quarterback. That's why I'd be crying too if I had Jimmy G as my quarterback.
I mean,
and we just lost the game with a hot potato. You threw up a hot potato to our receiver high. In fact, that guy had to jump. He had to jump like 6 feet in the air, try to catch that ball. Goes through his hands, and that's why I'd be crying too. OBJ comes over and consoles him. OBJ is probably like, man, sorry you got Jimmy G, man. Sorry, I got Matthew Stafford. I'm going to the Super Bowl. See you later.
Oh man, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Tough break for Debo, man. He played another tough game, man. He took that big hit at one point in the game. Thought he was going to be out. To be honest, the way that looked initially, man, they were taking a couple of little cheap shots at him, a couple jabs, whatever. But so I just gotta give props to Debo, man, on a great year. Fortunately, I had to come to an end, a tough end like that. But like you said, you can't leave the hands, put the game into Jimmy G's hands, man, because that's never gonna be a recipe for success. The same thing happened in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and pretty much was the exact what it was. It was the same results. Jimmy G ain't gonna deliver in the clutch, man. He's just not that guy. As for the Super Bowl, who do I got? I'm going with them Cardiac Cats 2.0, man, because it's just meant to be, man. Nothing keeps this team down. Every time you count this team out, they bounce back and find a way to get it done. I mean, people were counting them out in the game yesterday, early in the game, and it's just like that. They do what they do, man. They get back up. They keep fighting. Like I said, Joe Burrow is to me, he's the next big thing for real in this league. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be here, be around doing the stuff he's doing, but Joe Burrow he's the next guy, man. Like for real, he's got like real wow factor in my opinion, man. He just gets it done, man. I just love everything about this kid, and I think he's going to lead Cincinnati to a W at the Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium on the Rams home field. In Super Bowl, what is it, 57 now or something like this?
Man, that would be badass. I think it's Super Bowl
or 56 or 57. I don't know.
It's 56.
I don't even know.
56. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a 40-year anniversary. It would have been the 40-year anniversary of the Bengals meeting the 49ers. But thanks, Jimmy G, for ruining that anniversary.
But so yeah, that's pretty much all I got. You guys got any last thoughts?
Nope.
No, I'm good. Good.
No, I'm good.
Well, all right. We're gonna move on now.
Thanks all people in the chat. We see you there. Thanks for the support. G Nation, Inside Sports, Miz. We see you, Levance, Jeffrey. Thanks for watching.
We'll get into some New York Giant news now.
Oh snap!
And I'm gonna let Adam take it away.
Whoa!
On Brian Dabo.
B-Dabs, that's what I'm calling him right now. B-Dabs, all right? He's already got a nickname for me, all right? Listen, I know people were like, Adam, you're like Brian Flores. What's with the change of heart? I'm like, listen, bro. I'm a New York Giant fan through and through. If I want a coach, it doesn't sign. I don't own the team. I can't make the decision. I just told you what I prefer. But, hey, the guy is here. It's kind of a small guy. I mean, he's like looks like a little gnome. You put a little gnome hat on him. Maybe this little gnome will take us to the promised land. No, I'm just kidding. But I saw his introductory press conference. Exactly what I needed to hear. Wasn't rah-rah. Wasn't punching you in the mouth for 60 minutes. Wasn't giving me any of that sunshine up my ass because he wants to appease the fans. He's coming in and he's working hard. People asked him at the press conference, what do you think you're ready? He's like, yo, I've been preparing for this role for 21 years. I'm like, all right, man, I'm starting to buy in. Bill Parcells, he talks to, that's one of his mentors. I mean, this guy right now, I think it's perfect for the Giants with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, because as you're listening and you're reading the tea leaves, Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge obviously weren't on the same page, and we don't need to revisit history, but obviously their relationship is a little rocky. This one looks like it's off to a great start, and their focus is not about wins and losses, which I think is great. He's like, I'm not putting those expectations on anything. I'm going to come in here, work hard, and let's build something. You know what I mean? And that to me is exactly what I want to hear. I don't want to hear a prediction, ballyhoot or tell me 60 minutes. There's going to be ups and downs. He said there's going to be ups and downs with this. There's going to be good times, bad times. We're going to roll through the punches. And I just believe in his message. Now, like Max said early on, until he hits the field, I'm not going to get excited or do a cartwheel because hey, we got Brian Daboll, he's going to fix the offense. No, we still have Daniel Jones. We still need to evaluate whether or not he is good enough to be a above average starter. Because let's be honest, if you watch the quarterback play in the playoffs, it's got to be better than that for us to compete with teams like that if we go that far. And for me, let's see what he does. Really, I think his offense is starting to shape up. There are rumors about guys coming in and not coming in. We can speculate if he brings in Dorsey, that might be a great thing. And then he's bringing in his own line coach as well. So I mean, there's a lot of good things. Now he might possibly be keeping Patrick Graham. But hey, let's see what he does because honestly, people will need to temper their expectations. This isn't going to be Bills 2.0 down here in East Rutherford. Okay, let them build what they need to build. What they're doing this year is what I call the evaluation period. You're going to bring in as many players as you can to see who your guys are. Remember Parcells guys? Well, they're going to bring in Joe Shane and Brian Dable guys to see who is going to be here for the long haul, who is here to keep, who is not going to be here. It starts in the offseason. They're going to make a ton of cuts. We know the guys who they're gonna cut or speculate. Even Shane has said it, and Dayball said they want to get under the cap. So I like where their head is at. So for me, I'm already excited with what's going on. I'm excited that what his message is to Giant fans. You see his little videos, you see everything coming on, and really I like where his direction is as a football team. I think for the first time in a while, if you're a Giant fan, you have clarity of what possibly is going on with your team. The coach is coming in, he's laid the foundation, right? And now he's saying this is what we're going to do, and my general manager is on board. Let's go, Rodney.
I'm all there with you, man. I'm not gonna get too excited. I'm not gonna sit there and say, hey, you know, he's the second coming. No, I want to see. For me, it starts before they get on the field. It starts with again the people that they're bringing in, and especially what they do as far as the draft and this salary cap. That's what I want to see first. That's going to tell me what direction that they're heading in. If you're willing to sit there and make the tough decisions, getting rid of some of these guys so you can get underneath the cap, there's some guys I want to see stay, there's some I want to definitely go. But either way, I'll be in support. Uh, as far as with the draft, I want to see what they're going to do with the draft. That's so important for me. Everybody, they've said it in their. Joe Shane said it in his press conference. John Mara's hinted about it. I want them to fix this offensive line. You have the opportunity to do it, the opportunity to start anew right here, right now, this offseason, going into next season. That's where I'm going to put my emphasis on seeing where this team is heading, whether it's in the right, as far as being in the right direction. Um, I'm very happy they brought in Dabble. Very happy. I wanted an offensive minded coach. I wanted someone that can come in here and not necessarily make Daniel Jones into Josh Allen, but be able to tap into this kid's potential and see what we can see about him. Be able to truly evaluate him. That's what's been that's one of the most glaring issues with this team besides the cap, free agency, drafting, all that, is being able to evaluate Daniel Jones. So let's see what we have. Can we roll with him for, 2, 3 plus years? Let's see if we can do that. If not, at least you have put this team in a position to where whatever quarterback you bring in afterwards, if it's not Daniel Jones, they'll be able to succeed and succeed well. So that's my biggest thing. I want to see what they're going to do in the offseason. And as far as that, Brian Dabble is concerned, again, offensive minded coach with a lot of experience. Everybody had I was reading in Twitter as far as, you know, who people wanted and who they thought was the right choice, or go with a head coach, a new head coach, or one that's got experienced head coach. He's not an experienced head coach, but he is an experienced coach in this NFL. 21 years, 25 years total. That includes college. He's coached on every side of the ball. So for
Well
me,
said.
that's a plus. Okay, that's a plus. Okay, yeah, he's a new head coach, but he has got coaching experience, and that is what is needed. Regardless of where he coached, what position he coached, he has experience. So that's necessary. That's what's needed, and I'm glad that they brought him in. And I just can't, as far as offensive line coach, I haven't really done much research on the guy, but I have heard good things about him. Reading up on some things from Twitter and whatnot. But if this is going to put our team in the right direction, I'm all for it. And congratulations to Brian Dabble. Welcome to Big Blue.
Yeah, really like the way he handled himself in front of the media today as well. I mean, they threw a couple of questions at him where they were trying to, I think, where they were really going, fishing a little bit, and he didn't bite. I mean, so he stayed to what he was basically saying and preaching the whole time. He's going to wait. He's going to get these guys on the field. He's not making any crazy promises. He's not doing. He's going to get these guys out there, and he's going to build an offense around what these guys can truly do. He wants to see. I mean, I loved when he at the one point he answered the question about Daniel Jones. He asked Daniel Jones, like, "Tell me what you like. Tell me the things you like to do. Let me, figure those things out. If you figure out what you like, and then we can build something around those type of things. Not just trying to, fit a square peg in a round hole. Not
Well
just gonna
said,
go out
Mac.
there. Yeah, you're not just gonna go out there and make you do what you're not comfortable doing. You know what I mean? So
That's
I
great.
appreciate.
That's great to have, because all the great quarterbacks have some type of collaboration. But the fact that he's willing to do that, Jason Garrett wasn't doing that. Jason Garrett was like, "Yep, this is my plan. Run it." He's gonna be like, "Yo, Daniel, what'd you do?" Now, my only thing is that Daniel Jones has shown to me to not be the greatest quarterback here, right? Whether he has time or not, because you know, I think Rodney said it takes time to develop. Well, guess what? I've heard it takes about 8 weeks to get an offense down pat. Okay. And that means he's going to come in here. And I know everyone's like, hey, we got this popcorn schedule. Yeah, popcorn schedule is only good until your quarterback throws 2 interceptions. Then, then it's a different ball game, right? So my point is that let's see if he can develop quickly to get this team afloat, because if this team comes out the gate and stumbles and like Rodney said, we might expect that out the gate, but if Daniel Jones is dragging them down, then that's going to be the focal point of this move, right? So for me, let's see them build the offensive line. I don't want any more excuses with this guy. I love that they're giving him input and doing that. That's what you should do with your quarterback. Anyways, as a coach, you should be putting your quarterback in the best position. You don't need to solely have him direct the offense, but you need to be like, hey, man, I do RPOs well. I throw to my right well. I like this seam route. I like this play with Shepard. Have some input in the game plan. Now, this is what really makes me like Dayball, is he takes those suggestions and then incorporates them. Now, I don't know if that means he says he's going to call him in a game. I don't know if what that means entirely, but the fact that he takes the person's idea and it puts it in there because with their input is actually great, because they're the ones seeing it every day, right? They're the ones in there. You're watching film, but you can't tell somebody's emotion, and maybe he has a better rapport with David Sills. Look at, I'm throwing it way back, Bobby Johnson, Phil Simms, Minnesota Vikings, 1986, right? Phil Simms goes into the huddle and says, Bobby, if you're open, I'm throwing it to you. And Bobby wasn't really the first read. He was like the second or third read on that play. And so then he turns and boom, he gets the football. What I'm saying is this, you can run plays where maybe he'll become more familiarized with certain players. Like, hey, I know the Shepard's going to be open on the backside. Maybe we should, run this play opposite. They won't be expecting that. You know what I mean? These type of things will help him develop. And let's see, because right now, for me, Daniel Jones got all the attributes, right? Tall, strong arm, can move, can run. My few things with him are can he move around the pocket? Because sometimes he drops back and he's like the Statue of Liberty back there. He just stands there like his feet are locked in cement. And, that's why he gets sacked, fumbled, because he doesn't, do the subtle things. Look at like Matt Stafford. He'll move and, just a little bit to avoid the first rusher and then make the play, right? That's one thing I need to see Daniel Jones. The other thing is his mental makeup. Because to me, sometimes his brain turns off in the middle of plays, a la Tampa Bay, when you throw it across your body to a fat lineman. Sorry, Lyman. Don't mean to, you know, make fun of your appearance, but to a heavyset gentleman in the middle of the field playing D tackle, right?
I'm
Who's
sorry, Adam.
basically
I'm sorry,
on,
Adam. I apologize for that. That was I had to.
who is basically on the field on a knee and he catches your football. All right, because you're getting sacked and want to make a play. My point is, Daniel Jones needs to figure it out mentally. That's the second thing. And the third is, if you do put those two things together, I need you to have more than 3,000 yards. And can you give me 25 touchdowns, please? Can you give me 25 touchdowns? There are backup quarterbacks who are throwing more touchdowns in games than Daniel Jones is. You know what I mean? We need to keep up with the Joneses, no pun intended, with the damn quarterbacks.
Well, I'll say this, Mac. I agree. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Mac. AC, I agree with everything you just said. My thing is, how creative can they get with the playbook to benefit Daniel Jones' strength? That's the concern. How creative can you get? Can you get this young man sitting down watching film because you know they're going to sit down and they're going to watch film on Daniel Jones if they haven't already done it. They're going to watch and they're going to see what this kid does good. They're going to see what he does wrong, what he does bad, and they're going to emphasize, well, you know what? He does this good. He does it. Again, I don't want them to fix Daniel Jones because he's not the team. We don't know whether or not he's a long-term future
Right.
for the team.
And
But
Robbie,
I
another
want
thing
to
we need to
see
say. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, but what I want to see is how can you utilize this young man in whatever scheme you decide to come up with so this young man can succeed. The same way with Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay, whether it is Slayton or Shepard, Saquon, I want to see what they can do. You have to be able to, and I'm
What's up,
glad you
G
said
Nation?
that. What's going on there, Lou? I'm glad that they're able, they said that they're going to talk to Daniel Jones, see what he likes to do, going all the way back to Duke. I want to see that. That tells me right then and there just how hands-on you want to be as far as the system that you want to implement and put in. As you said, Jason Garrett wasn't doing that nonsense. He was pretty much just saying you run the play, and that's it. Run that play. Three curl routes in the same position, three wide receivers in the same place, curl route. That's what I want. And Daniel Jones probably was like, "What the hell are you doing?" As far as everybody else is concerned, but that's here nor there. But that's what I want to see. I want to see how they're going to be able to get creative with Daniel Jones. Let's see how that progresses. I'm open for that. Make this offense innovative, creative. Just get the fans hyped up to see the difference in what we've been missing for the past 2 years. That's what I want to see.
Well, last point before I let Lou go is I want to see him stay healthy. That's another big point.
You're right
Lou?
about that.
What you got, Lou, on Brian Dabo, man?
11-6. I'm back on my bullshit. Y'all already know what it is. We stealing offensive lineman coaches and shit from the Bills. We hiring unemployed defensive coordinators because in case you didn't know, Patrick Graham is getting that head coaching job at the Vikings. Quezzy wants to build something there, specifically because of all the social injustice that happened in Minnesota, all the civil unrest. Quezzy is like trying to build predominantly black staff, and Patrick Graham is on board. In case nobody's broke that yet, you heard it on Mac the Giants fans channel first. So Patrick Graham will be head coach of the Vikings, and we will be getting Wink Martindale.
And
Well,
two comp
well,
picks.
but you got any thoughts just on Brian Dabo in general about his press conference? I mean, that he
I
had
think
today
I
in
think
Philly?
he nailed it. He wasn't too hyped. He wasn't too laid back. He was joking around. He said the right stuff. I like what he was saying about his philosophy, just being authentic, because guys will see through you if you fake. I mean, he hit all the high notes and all the baritones and all the tenors, and now we got to see it into work. We got to see it take shape and produce results and bear fruit.
You're right. Absolutely right. I think, let's see what he's got. He
But I
came down.
think he can do it. Now, here's a fun fact a lot of people don't know. When Pat Shermer got the head coach job, he wanted Brian Dable as the offensive coordinator. When Joe Judge got the job, he wanted Brian Dable as offensive coordinator. And both times they couldn't get their guy. But for the past few years, he was the offensive coordinator. For the last 4 seasons, he was the offensive coordinator that the head coaches wanted for the New York Giants, and now he's the head coach. Where's the irony in that?
It is crazy, and not to mention he also was in the head coaching circuit of last year as well. You know, he was up for the Chargers job. So
Mm-hmm.
you got a guy who's been around the circle. The thing that this reminds me of, and maybe Lou and Mac, and I don't know how old you are, Rodney. Maybe you'll bring this parallel. It reminds me of Jim
44.
Fossil. Remember, Jim Fossil came in here. He was the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator. He made Boomer Esiason look like a competent quarterback, and Kent Graham look like a competent quarterback that year. Giants hire him to fix a quarterback from Duke named Dave Brown. Right? They come in and try to build a team around him, and then a few years later, after evaluations happen, they bring in Kerry Collins. But now you got a guy who coming in here from the offense side trying to fix another quarterback. And the thing that I also like that he said is his offensive play caller is going to call plays. That makes me think like Jim Fossil when he started, he let Sean Payton call the plays. Then when shit hit the fan, he was like, "Give me the play calling. I'm going down with the ship." You know what I mean? But that to me is what excites me the most about Dayball, because I don't like the play sheet guys. I think a few guys can do it. Andy Reid's of the world, some Doug Petersons, but I feel sometimes that takes you away from the flow of the football game. Right? You need to know if somebody makes a mistake on the defensive side of the ball, you shouldn't be looking at your diner menu trying to pick out your chicken fingers and fries for the next freaking play that you're trying to throw in there. I need you to be like, "Yo, man, Lorenzo, man, you missed the edge. What's going on? Oh, this is what's happening." Okay, and then he coaches them up. Or
Hold on, Adam. Sorry, Miz. Harbaugh ain't getting that job. Sorry. Go
so
ahead, Adam.
he wants to order side salad sometimes. I mean, McAdoo had a menu the size of a diner menu. You literally you're looking at the guy and he doesn't even know what the defense is doing because he's behind it trying to figure out should I get the eggplant parmesan or should I go with the gravy fries on this play? You know what I'm saying? So that excites me. It reminds me of Jim Fossil because of how they're bringing him in, the improvement of the offense, it being around the quarterback. Now, let me be honest. Daniel Jones is warm, keeping the seat warm. I keep telling everybody he's a couch that when you move into an apartment, you want to keep because you ain't got no money because you just dropped it on the apartment. So you have a couch there, you'll use it, you'll see if it fits your style, and maybe you keep it, maybe you don't. But my point is Daniel Jones is keeping the seat warm for the next guy. I don't know if he has the intangibles to pull this off. I mean, there's a lot of things beside the Jason Garrett offense that were alarming to me. But hey, this is about Brian Daboll. Lou, love your take. If anybody's got nothing else to say, we can move on to the next topic.
Anybody got any final thoughts on Brian Dable?
I'm good. I'm good.
Actually, I gotta hop off. I gotta help somebody do something, but I just wanted to come in and support, and I'm gonna keep it playing, and I'm gonna keep chatting, but I'm gonna help somebody do something real quick.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping in, Lou.
And
Yeah, man,
hop on later so we can figure that out, man. All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, there, Lou.
All right, gentlemen. Next up, well, we're gonna just go right on into the man, Patrick Graham, since he's come up a little bit, and it's been said if he doesn't get the head coaching job over in Minnesota, that he will be retained here as a defensive coordinator. What are you gentlemen thoughts on that?
Uh, I like Patrick Graham. I think that he's shown that he's a very competent, good head coach, and I want to see this guy succeed as far as getting a head coaching position. You know, I if he doesn't get it, I wouldn't be, and I'm not going to be too upset as far as him being retained because at least the defense has some continuity where the offense doesn't as of right now, and I think that's what's important. Some sort of continuity. Uh, how good he's worked with Dabble before in New England, so I truly believe that Dabble and Patrick Graham could work together as far as getting the defense where it needs to be. I definitely hope to see the defense take a step, at least more steps forward as far as their play is concerned, especially before halftime, because they gave up a lot of points before halftime, and I want to see that get better. So, if we if he were able to retain Patrick Graham, I hope things get better as far as the coaching, players, the whole entire scheme as a whole. But if we lose him to a head coach position as far as the Vikings is concerned, hey, I give him all the props, give him all the praise. He deserves it. He truly deserves it.
Well, I'm indifferent. I don't really care or not care if Patrick Graham's here, because Patrick Graham is good. But like you said, Rodney, he gave up like 86 points in 2 minutes of a half, right? That defense, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. So there are some concerning things about this defense that, you know, because they played so well or they played better than the offense, are we missing something here? You know what I mean? You ever get that take where your offense is so bad you can't focus on what is the problem with the defense because you're like, dang, man, that offense was terrible. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that I'm not right on this and that they actually just need some talent and some cohesion, because the other problem I have with Graham's defense is there's no identity really. You know, with Wink Martindale, you know what he's doing. You're running the 3-4, you're running that cover zero, bang. You know, you're getting the personnel to run that. With Patrick Graham, it's like every game is like the NBA. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to put this guy here and this guy here and this guy here. You know what I mean? And I think for me, while I like them going in a 4-3, sometimes in a 3-4, just stick to one side of the football, because most of the teams play nickel anyways, right? So you're kind of spreading them out to begin with. So it's almost kind of useless to have an amoeba defense, because what I'm trying to say is, like, we can't focus on edge rushers if you're not going to use edge rushers, right? You can't go into the draft and be like, hey, let's get this guy, because you don't have a set defense that you're playing. Everyone doesn't have a defined role. So for me, there's a few things I need to see out of Patrick Graham's defense. One, a little bit more blitzing, and obviously when the edge players get there, a little bit more people getting home, right? The other thing I need to do is stop people inside of a half, because those are crucial times. Look what the Bengals did. I know it's not something big, but those 3 points or 7 points being taken off the board, flipped the script on them, because at the end of the game, when the game became close again, those points were irrelevant, and it actually made them the equalizer. The other thing I'd like to see, is let's get a little bit more turnovers, a little bit more third down stops. I feel like sometimes the Giants will score a touchdown, you think the momentum's back, and then the defense lets up a play, to get the team right back in the game. So I just need them to do a lot better. I know there's talent coming. This is one of the proponents of why I am not a huge fan of back-to-back O-line picks in the first round of the draft, because if you get a Devin Lloyd there at 7, that's a guy that's going to help a strength in your team. Just because your defense is a strength doesn't mean it needs to be ignored. A ex-general manager of the Giants used to say, you can never have too many pass rushers. In translation, he means you can never have too many great players on one side of the football. Right? So don't just neglect the defense, and because you know how many second-round picks pan out. I know people are going to say Ojulari, but sometimes it takes a little longer for them to pan out. They don't have the success that Ojulari had. Ojulari probably should have been a first-rounder. Because of his knee, he ended up dropping to the second, just like McKinney. Right? People would go back now and redraft those guys and say, hey, listen, a team would be like, hey, I'll take McKinney now and I'll take Ojulari now. My point is, though, is the hit rate or the bust rate in the second round for a defensive player goes up. So for me, if you can get a bona fide guy, a Devin Lloyd, if Thibodeau falls to 5, I don't care about Neal. I'll find out if I can get Linderbaum or somebody down at 7. I need guys that are going to come in here and make impacts, because as much as we want to see like an Odell Beckham or a game breaker on the offense, we need game breakers on the defense. Look what happened with the Rams and some of these other teams in the playoffs. Defensive guys have helped them win games. The Bengals defense is just a collective group, but they have Trey Hendrickson, who had 15 sacks. Okay, so they have a guy out there who can make plays. We have Azeez Ojulari and a bunch of trash cans. You know what I mean? Like, okay, great. Leonard Williams is good for what he does, but Lorenzo Carter, while I like him and I would bring him back on a cheap deal, he's not a bona fide number 1. O'Shane Ximines, I don't even know if he exists anymore. I don't even know if he, they might have changed his security tag to get in the building, because he's not around. You know what I'm saying? They took the security tags around that guy. You have Ellerson Smith, who, he's 6'4". He hasn't played football for 3 years, and now you're giving him his first taste of football. He's playing special teams. Quincy Roche, who everybody loves, had 2.5 sacks. Okay, I like him. I like the development, but now that Sean Spence is gone and some of these defensive coaches are gone, will they have the same impact? So for me, in the draft, I want to help out Patrick Graham. I want to be like, listen, we're going to give you actual talent to have on this team, not just a bunch of scrubs from another team. I mean, like I like Blake Martinez, but Tay Crowder, come on, man. Like I like him. He had 100 tackles, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Adam, he had like 120 tackles." Yeah, but he put his head down for most of them, and guys are just running by. You had a guy in the hole the last game. Literally, I see Tay Crowder fill the hole. Like, great job. Put his head down like he's looking to tie his shoe, and the guy runs right by him. I'm like, you can't have these plays from a linebacker. I understand he's Mr. Irrelevant. That's what I'm talking about. Don't just let the guys on your team define who you are. Get better everywhere. I know I went a little tangent there, but my point is that I'm excited for Graham, but he has to do certain things. Otherwise, give me Vic Fangio, give me Wink Martindale. They've proven to be better D coordinators. If we can't get them, I'll settle for Graham. I already know what he can do. That's just me.
Well, okay. I was gonna say, well, I agree a little bit with both sides of the things. Like I'm kind of more willing to want to take Patrick Graham back because I feel like our offense is absolutely so bad that I feel like we don't need both sides of the football having to learn completely new schemes. I just think a lot of Patrick Graham's issues is not really his own. I feel like it's a lot to do with the personnel. You've been saying it. Like Lorenzo Carr is not number one, but he's been our number one pass rusher. Well, he's been our at least first on the depth chart anyway for the last few years now. Last couple of years, he's not a number one guy. Tay Crowder, let's face it, he was filling in for Blake Martinez, and he did admirable, okay, but he, like you said, Mr. Irrelevant, he is what he is. Also, not really the guy that should be a starter. So I think a lot of Patrick Graham's issues have had a lot to do with just personnel in general, and hopefully we can get those things corrected. And I feel strongly that it'll benefit this team to have that continuity of Patrick Graham coming back. Even though I would absolutely love Wink Martindale to come over here and join his coaching staff. I think it would be a pretty smart move to hang on to Patrick Graham right now because I feel like and I think honestly because the offense is so historically bad right now in New York that I just think this team can't really afford to be having both sides of the football getting new schemes installed. It's a tough call for me, man. But I'd be cool with Patrick Graham coming back. I think I'm more on the side of him coming back and being okay with that. What's going on, Ash, in the chat?
I mean, Mac, you're right about that. But Adam, you have to think about it in this case as well. With Blake Martinez going down, that kind of hampered a lot of what Patrick Graham could have really done because he was pretty much the quarterback of the defense that was there. He was the one that was, helping guys to line up, getting the play call in for the defense. So when Blake Martinez went down, that really put, a lot of stress as far as what Graham could really, really do. He also had a number of guys going, getting hurt as well throughout the year. But, the key thing for me is, can they get another elite pass rusher in there? Because I don't believe Lorenzo Carter is going to be retained. And if so, probably a 1-year prove-it deal. Jimenez is gone. I do hope that they're able to keep Ellison Smith and Roche. Ojulari, he's going to be there. But as far as, other positions, would I like to see another edge rusher? Yes, definitely. I would love to see another dominant edge rusher. But Adam, you made a good point because the linebacker position is also something of need.
Right.
I mean, it's a big, big need because
Rodney, let me ask you, who's the starter next to Tay Crowder outside of Blake Martinez?
I mean, who did they have out there? You had Reggie Ragland. Who else? Well, once
you had Ragland, you had Bernard McKinney, you had Jalen Smith. Okay, we had 3 guys who were working at Walmart coming in to play linebacker for us every week. No disrespect to somebody that works at Walmart, I'm just saying. But, what I mean is, like, you got guys who got cut from other teams. Now, I would like to retain Jalen Smith For me, that's a
I
guy.
was just getting ready to ask about that. Like,
Yeah, me
if
too.
Jalen Smith came in and played pretty solid those last couple of games, all things considered, and I was going to say, do you think that could have been a kind of nice diamond in the rough, good low key, good signing late in the season for us going forward?
I think Jalen Smith. I would love to see Jalen Smith next to Blake Martinez, right? And then if you draft Devin Lloyd or whatever, you can do that. But he played well enough to keep him around. I know people are going to say, well, he didn't play well in Green Bay. He got cut from the Cowboys. He probably should have been cut from the Cowboys, but they were like, yo, Micah Parsons does better. We just need to get rid of him. And they had a brain fart and got rid of him. I think, for me, bringing Jalen Smith, I wanted him in the draft. I think he's still got what the Giants need. And while you're bringing in, I mean, you need talent, right? If you put him next to Blake Martinez, a competent D lineman, then you move Tay Crowder to the nickel, meaning that he could be your coverage linebacker. I think those three guys right there can produce enough heady plays to kind of get that defense going. Now, I'm not saying don't take Devin Lloyd. Jalen Smith doesn't prevent that. But if you're talking about bringing guys back, for me, he played well enough for me to say, hey, here's a contract. It may not be what you want, but you'll at least have a chance to start on our team, and you'll play next to Blake Martinez, and we can do a lot of things. So I feel like if they can do that, Jalen Smith, Blake Martinez comes back healthy. Now you have a rotation that you just need. Remember, they carry about 4, maybe 5 linebackers. You can bring in a rookie, kind of get them integrated into your system, and then when Jalen Smith leaves after the year, or you get rid of Blake Martinez, you still have a guy there. Remember, the key to a team being good is you keep drafting players no matter how much depth you have, because eventually someone's going to leave, you're going to make a trade, and guess what? That guy's going to assume that role. And if you've done your homework and you've coached him up and you developed him correctly, you're not going to miss a beat when he comes in. As you can see with all these teams around the league in Kansas City and LA and all these teams, they get injured and those backups come in and play for them, and they play at a high level. And then eventually they're like, we can play the guy who's cheaper, or we got to play the guy that's going to get paid. So that's how it works. So I would like to bring in a linebacker. I would keep Jalen Smith. He's one of 4 guys. There's 18 guys that are on free agency, and then let's say they're going to cut maybe 3. So we're talking about 21 guys that may not be on this team. If I were to say I'm signing him, maybe Zoe Carter, and then I don't know, maybe a John Ross. I'm not breaking the bank. Austin Johnson, maybe. He's a good depth piece. I would keep him around. But Jalen Smith, he earned a second contract for me. At least for me. I don't know about y'all.
Oh no, I agree with you. He showed me that, you know, we saw what we were pretty much missing. Tay Crowder is not good against the pass. He's not. He really isn't all that well against the run. I mean, I could bring up a number of games where I've seen him literally just I have to ask the question is why are you running to that gap when the play is not there? I mean, if you just wait a half a second to a second, you'll start to see the play developing and hit that gap where that running back was running through, and he was just literally just chasing after gaps that just weren't the right ones. A lot of times in the game. When they brought in Jalen Smith, I saw a significant difference as far as how teams were running and how teams were attacking as far as getting from the defensive line to at least the linebacker position. And also you got to wonder, well, shoot, where was Tate Crowder all this time? Because Jalen Smith is running around there with a chicken with his head cut off. Just he's getting involved. Tate Crowder was, yeah, to a certain extent getting involved, but not as much. So I agree with you. Blake Martinez, Jalen Smith, uh, maybe McKinney. You keep Tay Crowder as well, but you definitely got to go after a linebacker in this draft if you're able to get one. So I'm in agreement with you. You got to be able to keep drafting, but main important is to draft well. Just bringing in
Right.
any player, that's not going to cut it. You got to be able to do your homework, scout these guys, and make sure that they come in and they can fit whatever system that you're going to be implementing, and they fit that system well to where if someone goes down, guess what? That rookie can come off that bench and do what's necessary. The second part to that is the coaching, and that's what needs to get better.
True. I
Yeah,
agree with you on the coaching aspect of it. But Patrick, that's what. See, the thing about Patrick Graham. Sorry, Mac. My last point here is it's only good for the back end players that Patrick Graham has kept, right? The Cam Browns of the worlds, the Carter Coughlin's of the world, because now you have a coach who's like, oh, I know this guy. I played for me for 2 years or a year. I know his work ethic. That's the only good thing. The real good thing about Patrick Graham coming back is that you don't need to have a new familiar defense. You already got guys you know. You can evaluate them when Joe Shane comes up to you and says, hey, give me a rundown on this guy. You can be like, yeah, he fits our system well, or these are the type of players I'm looking for. So that's another point about Patrick Graham.
And I just had one more thing with Jalen Smith, man. If he, I think we'll also be fortunate to benefit if this guy has a legit chip on his shoulder, which I think he may, man, because this guy, let's face it, he ended up being like I don't know, a second or third with a second round draft pick, but that was only because of the serious knee injury he had his last year in college, man. This guy would have absolutely been a first round draft pick, probably a top 10 draft pick when he came out of Notre Dame, man.
Yep.
And I think he may feel like he still has something to prove, man. Getting released by the Cowboys in the middle of the season like that guys with his kind of talent and ability, man, don't take things like that too well. So we'll see what kind of mental toughness this guy has. If he plays with a chip on his shoulder, he can become a great linebacker for us. And like I said, it really could be a really good pickup for us. And at least one good thing Gettleman did on his way out the door, So we'll find out. We'll see, man. But one thing I wanted to answer Jeff's question he had up in the chat earlier. If you guys are down with that, guys think you guys see any surprise cuts or trades happening this offseason?
I think so. I don't know who. I mean, Rodney, you go first. I'm sorry, I've been not
No, I was
No.
gonna say I don't know who would. I can't really say any names of who it would be.
Well, would it be a surprise if certain people got come?
Yeah.
Like let me ask you this. Let's just throw a player out there. We'll do a couple for this exercise, and you can tell me if you're going to cut him or would be a surprise if he's cut. So Sterling Shepard.
I'm cutting Sterling Shepard.
So you wouldn't be surprised if he's gone.
No, not at all.
The biggest thing that's going to really dictate that is the injuries. That's what's going to really dictate that.
I'm about to throw a curveball at you here. What if Kenny Galladay? That would be a surprise for me.
That would be a huge surprise.
I think
that's the only surprise. Like Bradbury, I'm not really surprised if he gets cut, but it would be kind of like disappointing because I kind of like him. He doesn't really bother me.
I think would it surprise me if they cut Kenny Galladay? Yes, but I think that you're weighing money more than anything else with the Kenny Galladay cut because you got to take into consideration how much money in dead cap is going to be attached to that guy, and you barely even got anything out of him for a whole entire year. To me,
we got nothing
wasted
out of him.
money. You wasted money on that pick just to cut him the very next year. What I mean? That's the emphasis right there of crazy. You brought this guy in here on a $72 million contract.
Well, that was the old regime.
Cut him. Yeah, you're right. It's the old regime, but if I'm the GM coming in and I'm looking at all this mess and I see Kenny Galladay's name with his salary attached to him, I'm like, you know what? Hey, he didn't produce, and I may not be 100% sold on him, but there's no way that I'm getting rid of this guy and taking that amount of cap hit, for just 1 year that he didn't play well. Not entirely all his fault, but I just would it be a surprise? Absolutely, because I'm just looking at it from a money standpoint. Forget about his talent. I'm just looking at it from that salary. You're taking a big hit on that. So that would be a definite surprise.
How about a Logan Ryan?
I wouldn't be surprised about that.
I'd be a little surprised about Logan Ryan because I still think, even though he's clearly doesn't have the physical tools on the field anymore, that's pretty clear. But I think he still brings something to the locker room that gives him a little bit of value to help keep him around and help these young guys out and help these young guys turn into better players, man. I just feel like there's something to be said about that. And I think coaches and GMs, whatever, front office people do have respect that a lot and have a spot and try to reserve spots for a couple players like that on most teams.
I'll do one more, and then if you guys want to move on or keep going, it's up to you. But how about a Blake Martinez?
I would be surprised because in all reality, he's like pretty much your best linebacker, on the team. It granted he's coming off a major injury. We don't know how he's going to play coming off that injury. I just think that you cutting him, what is that telling you? If you're, I'll put it to you like this. If you are committed to doing a true rebuild and getting rid of Blake Martinez amongst other people is going to benefit the team in the long run, then I'd say go for it. But that's also telling me that, you know what, you don't plan on winning anytime soon. Don't get all excited if we go 0-17 or 1-16, whatever the case may be, because I'm I'm telling you,
I'm,
you
I'm
you
sorry.
get
I can't hold it in, man.
yeah, no, I understand. It's like you're you're saying a lot to that fan base when you are getting rid of all these players. You're saying to them and everybody else, we are rebuilding this team the way we want it, the way we need to see it, and that's that. We're going to do it the right way. You build through the draft, and you get free agents to fill holes. That's basically how it's always been done. Free agents come in to fill a hole or fill that need to be able to get you over the top to where you're already at that point. You're just missing maybe one or two, three pieces. You get rid of all these guys, Blake Martinez, Logan Ryan, Kenny Galladay, Bradbury, whoever you name it.
I'm just
You're
saying because they're
telling
the highest kind of cap guys on there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to cut Blake Martinez. Kind of like him. Kind of like he's the best linebacker we've had there since Antonio Pierce. So
exactly.
I would like to see him do well because many people said that he stunk, and I looked at his film and I'm like, what stinks about this guy? Oh, he's catching people from behind 10 yards down the field. I'm like, how do you know that's not his job? And then Patrick Graham and Blake Martinez goes, yo, that's what they deployed me as. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. We don't always know why somebody doesn't do well or what the actual assignment is on a play. So that's why I was an advocate for Blake Martinez. Still like him a lot. I do miss him. Out there. I guess the play of him, I don't know if I missed him, but I was like, maybe next year you're right. He'll come back and elevate defense a little bit because, to me, I was like, all right, I did miss 54 flying around. Maybe you're right. Maybe he was the guy that helped this defense out. But hey, that was fun, Jeff. Fun question. Love those type of questions. I'm sure we'll see surprise cuts happen. This is gonna be a great offseason, man. Most
Yeah, it
exciting
is.
for a job, man.
Yeah, I was just one more nugget real quick on that Blake Martinez. I'd be a little bit surprised as well because if nothing else, Blake Martinez also, man, he's just fundamentally sound. He's a he's a great tackler, point blank period. Nobody on our team tackles like Blake Martinez. We definitely need that on defense, but also he's been working hard in his past when he has to drop back in coverage. He's still not his strong suit, obviously, but he's definitely been working hard on it, man. And the guy just to me, he's the epitome of a New York Giant linebacker, if you ask me, man. So I'd be pretty stunned if he's coming off that injury, man. We just let him go. But
Gotta agree with you. Yeah.
we can move on to something else here. As I think we may be getting close to Zion popping in. I'm not sure, man, but he said he'd be just about around what time he'd be getting ready to. He should be getting ready to get on. So we'll see in a little bit if we get
And
him in the
then you
field.
guys will be able to call in and chime in at the tail end of the show, get your thoughts, and even rock it with us, the people watching, and whoever's not watching, you should be watching, but,
There you go.
Absolutely, but we'll get to this next topic, man. And I kind of snuck this one in here. I know I showed you guys the topic list earlier. This wasn't on there. I know I snuck this one in there.
oh, you sneak,
Oh,
blindsided me. Thanks, Eric Flowers.
But how do you guys talk about the GOAT? I mean, the GOAT, Tom Brady, man. Calling it a career after 22 years, man. Share you guys'
Is that
thoughts
official?
on TB12. Pretty sure, man.
I think he's waiting to get that bonus. To be honest with you, he's like, oh wait, $12 million. I'm not retiring. Then come Friday when he gets the bonus, yeah, I'm done. That's a TB. That's a TB12 kind of move, man. That's the kind of thing I can see him doing.
It's
But
pretty.
Rodney, I'll let you go first on this one.
Uh, all I got to say is, what more does he have to prove? There's really nothing else he has to prove at all as of this point right now. You have more Super Bowls than some teams have, though, franchise and organizations, period. You have pretty much broken damn near every quarterback record. What more do you have to prove? Granted, you probably would have wanted to go out on a high note by winning a Super Bowl, but you have a storied career. When it's all said and done, your name is going to be literally, you know, when people talk about the NFL, the name that they're going to bring up all the time is Tom Brady, amongst others. It's
I
going to be the
think
very first one. So he has nothing to prove at this point. You're regardless of the fact of whether he didn't win a Super Bowl or not, he is still going out on top. Regardless, he's still going out on top. So I mean, hey, he's had a story career. Nobody hit no quarterback that I can see, maybe another 10, 15 years down the line, but as of right now, I don't see any quarterback even coming close to what this man has accomplished right now. So again, like I said, what more does this man have to prove? You know?
Well, I want to say a few things first. One, Ash, we see your question. What positional pick would you guys get mad at when we pick at 7? We'll address that in a few minutes, just because that might be a fun little exercise. My thing is this: I'm going to reverse the question on you guys. Um, but I'm going to give my Tom Brady take. Yeah, I like Tom Brady, great quarterback. I think he's retiring because there's nobody able to catch his records. He just passed Drew Brees as the all-time passing leader, and there's nobody in the rearview mirror that he needs to worry about. I always thought that he was playing to outplay everybody else, meaning he wants to be the top of the record books. When you open his name, like Rodney said, you're going to go down the list when you go to Canton, Ohio, and visit the Hall of Fame, and you're going to go most passing yards, Tom Brady, most playoff wins, Tom Brady, most this, Tom Brady. He just wants to be every category. So when you open that book, there's like 20 pages of just Tom Brady. Now, my question to you is, what what quarterback in the modern era that has played prior to Tom Brady that you would love to bring up and see in this NFL? For me, I would like to see Marino in this NFL because he threw 50,000 yards when you could tackle receivers back in the day. Okay, he threw for over 50 plus yards. We can't even touch a
Facts.
receiver now without getting a holding penalty. You breathe on the guy wrong, it's a 5 yard penalty, illegal contact, or whatever the hell goes on
Absolutely.
now. I mean, we might as well just put flags on him in the end zone. I mean, we don't touch nothing now. So my question would be, what guys do you think would be able to kind of catch Tom Brady, so to speak, if they were playing in this era?
Marino won.
Because we forget it's like basketball, right? We forget about the old cats, right? We're like, oh, Steph Curry can shoot threes from the moon. Yeah, but if he played in the bad boy era, he wouldn't be doing nothing but kicking rocks on the bench. You know what I'm saying? But if you put Jordan in this era with Steph Curry, he's dunking on everybody. Sorry, Rodney.
no, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah.
the game has changed to where, guys were getting horse tackled and I mean clotheslined, and hey, they just let them play. Brady changed a lot of rules in the NFL as far as where quarterbacks can get hit, how they can get hit. He's changed a lot of that. So
The
for
tuck
me,
rule.
yeah, the tuck rule, yeah, exactly. But a quarterback that I can see right now, Marino would have to be number one for me. Definitely Marino.
I love
Maybe
me
a
some Joe
Elway.
Montana too.
I would have to put Joe Montana in there. Um, I mean, we can
But
go a little further back too. I mean, think about it. You had Boomer Esiason and Vinny Testaverde. A lot of those guys They were
would be
doing.
where would they be? I mean, my God, those are good quarterbacks. They were great, but they threw for some solid yards. Phil Simms, I mean, my God, like what would he be doing now when he didn't get Mark Ingram tackled because that guy's 5'8" and 100 and nothing pounds?
Like I definitely agree with the Dan Marino assessment. I think Dan Marino, just like you said, he was a prolific passer in an era where, like you said, Rodney, people were getting clotheslined, all kinds of shit, man. Like, so it was just a way different game back then. And Dan
I mean, the
Marino,
Raiders played with like metal pipes in their forearm pads, right? I mean, come on, how are you gonna evaluate that? Oh, look, there goes my receiver. Up there's his head being taken off. You know what I mean? Nowadays, Odell Beckham Jr.'s jersey is not even touched. You know what I mean? They had them old jerseys where you could hold it and you wouldn't even know his hand's there because the jersey's so big. You know what I mean? Now they got these jerseys where it's like form-fitting and shit, and you can't even grab it because it's so damn slick. And you're trying to tell me that this Marino can't do that, man? Put Marino behind the best offensive line of football, and he's obliterating Brady's records.
But I mean, I agree. I agree with that. And also another guy we haven't mentioned yet, but was a pretty prolific passer himself. Was Jim Kelly, man. Jim Kelly also would have been out there, potentially.
Jim Kelly, man. I forgot about
I got a name. I got another name for you too. You might be surprised at this one, but I got a name.
Drop it.
Warren Moon.
Ooh, forgot about that guy. He's so good.
How
man.
on earth did we just forget about Warren Moon?
We forgot about the moon, man. We forgot about the moon. The moon comes out at night, and we forgot about it.
Warren Moon was a very prolific passer, man.
If y'all in the audience don't know who Warren Moon is, go watch his film. I know it's like grainy and shit, but it's on NFL Films, and you'll get the point. You'll get the point why this man's in the Hall of Fame. By the way, he also
did in the CFL, man. He put up numbers in the CFL.
Right, exactly.
Remember,
he's probably still could be the all-time leading passer or whatever, for all I know, in the CFL. I don't know.
He's the all-time leading passer. He's a pioneer at the quarterback position, not to bring in race, but he was one of the first black quarterbacks to, do what he's doing and then really take over a game. I mean, him and Randall Cunningham. So it's great. I mean, I like to look at passers. Like someone said, Elway in the chat. I like Elway, but Elway to me, like he would tear it up. He would tear it up, but he would be like Mahomes. You're just going to see him wing it downfield all day, every day. Brett Favre is interesting, too, because he kind of played in every era because that guy was a grandpa at one point. Like, he just would not leave. And he was probably doing the same thing Tom Brady was. Like, let me get as many stats as possible, and then maybe no one will catch me. And then this guy named Tom Brady comes, and they build a system around him where, I mean, look at him. His first few years, he wasn't even that good, Tom Brady. Like he built up. Great.
He was more of a game manager his first few years, honestly.
Right,
right.
Drew Bledsoe, who we forget, who was a pretty good quarterback in his day. I mean, he wasn't great. I mean, but Drew Bledsoe, we forget how good he was. Remember, he was taking the '93 draft for Rick Meyer. Thank God they didn't take Rick Meyer, right? I mean, that guy would have that guy gets you fired, Rick Meyer. But Drew Bledsoe comes out, and I think that was the real quarterback start of this quarterback love fest in drafts. When it was televised, at least for me, I was like, man, I wasn't really following football, but you knew Drew Bledsoe and Meyer when I came in. They were always talking about it. And then, in '94, they didn't really have anybody big. In '95, I don't remember anybody big. But then it was like in '98 when Manning and Leaf came back out, we started this whole process again. So, I mean, I wish it was Peyton Manning that were leading that, but he did miss a year and a half or so with like neck injury. So I can see why he is not. I'm sure he probably would have, if he has 74,000 yards. I didn't look it up. That's just a blind stat right now. He would probably have 78,000 or close to 80. So, Levance, Warren Moon does throw tight spirals to Chris Carter because all Chris Carter does is catch touchdowns.
That's why Philly traded him. That's why Philly traded him because all he did was catch touchdowns.
Well, that and his cocaine problem. That was the deal.
I mean, that was an issue too. but
yeah, you got a drug problem and you catch touchdowns. Well, you got to go. See ya.
I mean, Lawrence Taylor had a drug problem too, and we kept him around.
Yeah, but the thing
I get it.
I mean, Philly might be biting themselves in the ass because they're like, man, we gave up one of the most prolific receivers in the NFL history. If the Giants gave up Lawrence Taylor and he did that on another team, my God, I would have been crushed. Him like, man, just let him snort cocaine and go out there and play, man. Like, his body, his choice. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care what he does. as long as we win football games. I mean, what a different era we're talking about. Don't get me started with LT, man. I love that era of football. He would be fine for so many hits. I watch his highlights now. I'm like, that's illegal. That's illegal. Up, he would be fine for that. Probably kicked out of the league. There's one tackle where he tackles the guy literally by his neck. That's a 15-yard penalty in this day and age. I mean, they damn near called the penalty on that guy who had a clean hit. I'm like, man, that's a clean hit. And just because Deebo Samuels is jacked up, you want to throw a flag? Give me a break. I mean, they picked it up, thankfully. I'm like, damn.
But you know as well as I do that, the 80s and then 80s and the 90s, that was, put it to you like this, that was physical football. Okay, it was physical, no hands down. I mean, when you're talking about hits, and we look at far as the hits now, and we're like, oh my God, they're so surprised about the guy getting up, and come on now, if you saw some of those hits that they were getting, they were putting on some of these guys in the 80s, you'd wonder whether or not the person was dead, not just getting up. You wonder if he was dead.
I mean, Mark Rivera got his jaw broke.
Right? Matt, Adam, Roger.
Jeff, what's up, man?
How's it going, Jeff?
Tonight?
All right.
I love you guys talking 80s football.
Got any thoughts on Tom Brady? I mean, I know it's not an official announcement, hasn't been an official announcement, but there's been a lot of good sources reporting it, man. And I can't believe these guys are putting this news out there. And I mean, Tom Brady could pull a Brett Favre, but I don't know. I think it's 22 years. He's 44 years old. It's time, man. He had nothing more to accomplish. So, you got any thoughts on Tom Brady, Jeff?
No, I mean, all I'm going to say about Tom Brady is, I mean, the guy is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL period for a reason. The guy just went out there to find logic that none of us would ever thought we'd see. He's a guy at 44 years old that seemed to get better the whole entire time. And congratulations on a fantastic career for him. And curious to see what his future endeavors is. Maybe he'll go into the announcer's booth. Maybe he might get involved with possibly even owning a team in the future.
Endorsements.
Like the Mannings have done it. Endorsements, exactly.
I mean, you're going to see him like Peyton Manning and Eli. The only difference is people hate Brady more than Peyton and Eli. So, I mean, when I watch Peyton and Eli commercials, I laugh. They're just so jovial. I'm like, man, look at that. I hang out with Eli and Peyton. Tom Brady's got that edgier. People didn't like him. He's dating the supermodel girlfriend. He's a little edgier in terms of his appearance. He's got the little poof, the Fu Manchu, whatever the heck that kind of haircut is. You know what I'm saying? Peyton Manning, and Eli, they're just two average Joes having some Lay's potato chips and, going to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier in your podcast. I mean, there's going to be a changing in the guard going on in the NFC. I mean, with the Buccaneers look like they're going to be going downhill. Dallas is going to be in cap hell. The Saints are going to be in cap hell. The Packers, whatever's going on with Aaron
and we
Rodgers.
rise like a phoenix from the ashes to take the NFC crown.
Seattle's going down. There's going to be a big power shift going on in the NFC.
Yes, there is.
That's good stuff because that means players are going to be coming off the board that we don't expect, right? I mean, maybe this is the right time for the Giants to do some cap cutting because maybe they'll get some good bargain players who may not have been cut, but due to salary cap reasons, can't be fit under the cap. And maybe the Giants can snag a couple decent linemen who may be starters on their team, but can't be either paid or have to be cut due to salary cap restrictions. I think, this is a big time of year, and we really need to. This is the year I would love to have some free agency money because people are going to be cut that you don't expect. Remember, we were talking about surprise cuts. Well, there's 31 other teams that are going to make some surprise cuts this offseason. It's whether or not the Giants can maneuver, and it seems like a lot of people want to play for Brian Daboll, and they like him. Maybe this is the chance for the Giants to kind of get this offensive line fixed up quickly this offseason with maybe some of these surprise cuts that we're not thinking about.
That's true.
Ash, welcome to the stream. Ash, man, you had any thoughts on Tom Brady, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. What's up,
What up,
man?
Eric Flower? What up, Eric Flowers?
What's up, man?
I heard you the first time. Nah, but I mean, it's not even a debate. Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Whoa.
Well, here it goes. Here it goes.
Listen, you can't come on this stream and start trying to burn things down with your statements about Tom Brady. Look, I like Tom Brady like the next guy, but when guys are getting tackled, they didn't call pass interference back in the day, man. They let you punch a guy in the stomach when you ran by. You're like, oh, why did that guy miss that tackle? Oh, because he's laying on his ass at the 5-yard line because they used to bump guys now. Now, I'm not saying he's not
Listen,
good,
man.
but put him
Go
back,
ahead.
put him in the 80s and see if he does well.
Listen, man. If you do that for 2 years, that's fine. But this dude went to 10 Super Bowls. 10. That's not a coincidence. I mean,
You're right.
the fact that he has more Super Bowls than any franchise, including the Steelers. He got 6.
Very impressive.
He tied the amount of the Steelers in about 2 decades. In things that made franchises take 50 years to do.
Zion, you're right. You're right about that. I'm talking about pure passing and his stats.
No. I mean, if he as a pure passer, if we're talking about that, then I gotta go with Peyton Manning.
I love Peyton. That's my dude.
I gotta go with Peyton Manning.
Peyton was
I mean,
Peyton was the offensive coordinator.
Zion, what's up, man?
Zion.
They keep
going on,
holding it down,
Zion?
I just got home, so I'm just smoking a cigarette, and I'll probably log onto my computer if you guys want to keep this going. Thank you so
We
much for holding
got
it
a
down.
couple more topics, bro.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, Ash,
That
continue
dude-
on because we want to keep these
that
topics moving.
dude, Peyton Manning, revolutionized how you not even just the quarterback position, but how you audible and how you read the defenses.
The game of
I mean,
football.
a lot of people don't realize just how Peyton Manning really threw a defense off of their game.
He called his
Like,
own
he-
game.
It, and I go. Most of y'all don't even play Madden anymore, but
I play Madden.
there's the ability
know.
where it's where you man, what's that ability?
He thinks we don't play Madden, y'all.
You call him
I have retired.
old?
the
I'm
newer
just joking.
Madden, the newer Madden, like the latest Madden.
We're too old, guys, to play video games these days. It's on my Xbox One, Madden 2022. I don't play. I'm just kidding.
Knowing
Adam.
Adam, he probably got a PlayStation.
Yeah, I got a Sega Genesis. I'm playing Tecmo Bowl and Joe Montana Sports Talk Football. Now, that's how you do it.
Hey,
I'm
what's
going
wrong with
further back than that.
PlayStation?
I
What's
got
wrong with
the
PlayStation?
Nintendo NES.
Adam and his friends is getting competitive in Duck Hunt.
What's wrong with PlayStation?
Nah, man, we're just kidding, man. I love PlayStation.
Nah, but people don't understand how effective and how the meaning behind the Omaha. It's more than just the actual call out.
Yeah.
That dude Peyton Manning. It took people were talking about Brady and Breeze breaking records. It took Brady and Breeze almost 3 seasons just to catch up to Peyton Manning in his all time stats. You know, Peyton Manning set the passing record twice.
That's fast.
Twice.
I love Peyton.
Look at that
That neck injury.
Did he break the touchdown record twice,
messed him up.
And look at that magic he
think-
had with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne too.
Listen, I'm not. You know how many receivers Peyton Manning, and I'm gonna sound like my buddy Fist be saying this all the time, but it's true. You know how many receivers Peyton Manning got paid? He upgraded their play so they could get play. Eric Decker,
Austin Collie,
Brandon Marshall was at the Dolphins.
Demarius Thomas.
Even Marvin Harrison was great, but let's be Marvin Harrison would not be that great if he wasn't playing with Peyton. You know,
What about Reggie Wayne?
Well, he was
Reggie
silky.
Wayne too.
He was silky.
Reggie Wayne.
If I can, and let me interject here for a second though about because all that's all well and good, and Peyton Manning, I much respect to Peyton Manning, man. But look, this Tom Brady thing. Look, I'm not trying to. I respect the guy. I'm a big fan of Tom Brady. I do believe he is the GOAT when it comes to the quarterback position, man. And part of the reason why I believe is because look at all his years in New England, man.
I'm gonna call back in.
He won 6 years. He's won 6 Super Bowls in New England. His only legitimate, true, absolute stud wide receiver he ever had was Randy Moss for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, remember he was winning with Deion
He broke the
Branch
touchdown record that year.
and Troy Brown and
exactly.
David Patton
Smashed
and those
it,
guys.
as a matter of fact. Had a record-setting season when he got Randy Moss. That was his absolute record-setting
And Wes
season.
Welker too.
But he was exact. But that was my point. He's taking guys like Wes Welker and David
Julian
Patton
Edelman.
and Deion Branch and Julian
David
Brown.
Patton, that's a name.
Troy Brown.
and making these guys look like good receivers. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
they
Danny
weren't,
He got
Amendola.
Deion Branch
But-
paid, boy.
but I'm not
He got
saying those
Deion.
guys weren't good receivers. I'm just saying that they were, they're average guys. Everywhere else they ever played, they were just average guys. I mean,
Well-
Wes Welker played in Miami before he got to New England. Nobody barely even knew the
In
kid's name.
Denver.
But if you look at his
Welker-
story arc, right, look at his stat. I think they showed it on one of the playoff games. He had pedestrian numbers in his 20s. He had, really good numbers in his 30s, and then he put up some monster numbers in his 40s. So, I think he's playing to beat Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. That's really what I believed. It's like this guy just wanted to be at the top of everything. When you open the record book, he doesn't want you to think of anybody else but him. I know it's weird sounding, but think about owning all the records in the NFL, right? And then you go to the Hall of Fame Museum, and before you even get to Peyton Manning, it's Tom Brady, everything, right? You know what I mean? That's what I just feel like. That's why he's playing. Like, what do you need to prove anymore, bro? You won 6 Super Bowls, 7, right? You did it with 2 different teams, so you gave the big old proverbial "F you" to Bill Belichick, saying, "Hey, I don't need you to win a Super Bowl," right? I mean, he did have an all-star team with Tampa Bay. There was some pretty good talent there, so let's not forget that either. But what do you need to do? What? Just put it down. Put your golden cleats up in the Hall of Fame. Your stuff's going. You've got a wing in the Hall of Fame. That's how much he's done. He's going to have his own wing in Canton, Ohio, and I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see. I mean, I'm going,
Incredible
and this is an open invitation to any Giant fan out there. I'm going when Eli Manning goes to the Hall of Fame. I will be going to his induction ceremony. You're more than welcome to join me out there.
I wonder how much that costs to go.
It's not as much as you think. Not as
Well, I
much as
think
you think, bro.
You have
I
to
went
donate to the cause.
I went and saw Michael Strahan. I went when Michael Strahan got in. I went that year, man. I had good seats right on the field. Only people that had better seats than me were the VIPs.
Like, I don't even care. I mean, you have a
How much it costs?
jumbotron, so
And I only paid like about, I feel like shit. I had bought 3 tickets for me and my family, and it was like I didn't spend more than a couple $100 on those tickets. I mean, yeah, sure.
Wow.
I had to pay for everything, traveling out there and
Right.
getting a hotel and all that.
I'm not worried
stuff.
about that.
But you know what I mean. That's just a normal.
Yeah.
I was thinking this too. You think it would be pretty cool? I know it's probably unlikely to happen, but since we all I think a good amount of us believe that these 3 are going to be Hall of Famers. If Roethlisberger, Rivers, and Manning all went in at the same year in the Hall of Fame,
They should go in as a class. It would be nice.
Yeah.
Many people tell me Philip Rivers not Hall of Fame. They need to go rewatch some film. Because I don't know what they still. Philip Rivers going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. No
He's
doubt.
got better numbers than Marino. And if we're talking about Marino, the guy was a different kind of quarterback. He just played. I mean, think about it. It's like guys. I look at it like the NBA sometimes. Charles Barkley would have a championship if he didn't play Michael Jordan. Okay, Patrick Ewing would have a championship if he didn't play Olajuwon and Jordan on his way up there. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame Philip Rivers for meeting Tom Brady in the playoffs and Peyton Manning in the playoffs getting out and getting trounced. You know what I'm
And he
saying?
played on a torn ACL too that whole game, and he still played a good game that time.
Right.
So that's what shows how tough that guy is.
Right. And we're sitting here trying to get the can of tomatoes Ryan Tannehill to be a good quarterback. And meanwhile, Philip Rivers, people are disrespecting him because he has like 24 kids. And it's like, oh, he's not a Hall of Famer. Like, that guy is a Hall of Famer. I think the best guy in the class, stat-wise, the best guy in the class is probably Ben. I mean, if you are talking about return for your buck, you went to 3 Super Bowls, 1, 2, okay, great. Outside of the trouble that he had, he probably wouldn't have survived in New York with all that trouble. He would have been like Kerry Collins and kicked to the curb real quick. And then people forget about that. Kerry Collins, decent quarterback. But then you have Manning, who has one of the best temperaments. The only thing I didn't like about Manning in that draft was how he was getting to the Giants. To me, I was a little upset because when you're drafted in the NFL, it's an honor. You go to that team. You don't pull this stuff. I mean, it happened with Elway, but I wasn't alive to really see it, to really understand it. But he came in, and it was like his daddy was like doing all the manipulating. And I get it. You don't want to play for San Diego. It's understandable. I mean, at that time, they were a dumpster fire. But
Yeah.
to me, I just thought he was messing with the integrity of the draft. Go figure, right? And by the way, this next one's for all you trivia fans out there. Philip Rivers is the Giants draft pick in 2004. Don't get it twisted. All right. If somebody asks you who's the first round pick for the New York Giants in 2004, it was not Eli Manning. It was Philip Rivers. He was then traded to the San Diego Chargers. His rights were traded to the Chargers for Eli Manning. So, but just when you're going through your facts and trivia, don't get
Adam
stuck.
be dropping the facts.
And also, I mean, to touch on that, I mean, to go off of that more, if Eli Manning would have went to the San Diego Chargers, the New York Giants would have selected Ben Roethlisberger with the number 4
Right,
overall.
right, right.
And
So
there's
you
also
look,
a
and then,
fact too. I was just gonna say real quick, Adam, that it was probably best that Eli
Is that
Manning was the
Jeff?
quarterback selected in New York. Yes, it is. How you doing, Zion?
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, Jeff. I just
No, I
needed
felt
your
good.
voice. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Thank you for calling in, boss. I'll let you
No
finish.
problem, man. No, I was just going to say real quick that I think Eli Manning was the best fit for New York because he had that calm, cool demeanor that was able to handle the New York press and everything, where I
Yes.
believe Roethlisberger and Rivers would have had issues with the New York press,
Well,
with their strong personalities. They would have
see,
had
I
to
would
go
have liked
more
Rivers here
time.
because I like that. I like a little fire in my quarterback. I think he would have done well. You're right. He probably would have had a couple blow-ups, but that's all right. We would have dealt with it anyways. But the Eli Manning thing, the thing about Eli Manning, which people forget, that if he wasn't named Manning, he's probably off this team in 2007, right? Because he had a horrible year. The coach was about to get fired. All this is happening. His name is Manning. He put in the work, and an overall great stand-up guy. By the way, watch his show on Giants.com. He's got a phenomenal.
I love his show.
Guests on there. He's really hilarious. It really shows his personality. But Eli Manning was a different cat. Now, I think the problem that we have right now is we're trying to catch that cat, right? We're looking for the next Eli Manning when we should be looking for the next whoever we draft, right? Just let them be whoever they are. I think it's another reason why Daniel Jones has so much pressure on him.
Stop saying Daniel Jones is the next Eli Manning. He's not.
Should be looking for something better than Eli Manning, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree.
trying to take a knock at Eli Manning.
No, you're right.
You're
right.
We should be
All right, look.
the only thing. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Now I was gonna say we gotta get ready to move it along a little bit.
You're right. You're right. We're old. We're old here.
We kind of getting a little long-winded on this one here.
I
Go ahead. Finish the thought.
I just wanted to say this, and then I'm gonna dip out because I gotta go eat. But the only thing I didn't like about Eli Manning was that he was just too quiet, and he allowed the organization to treat him as a punching bag. Like
he was a silent assassin.
Yeah, but you see Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, when there's a problem, they march into that ownership room or that general manager room or with the coach, whoever it is, and they give them their thoughts. Right? If Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or whoever, if they were getting, even Peyton Manning, if they had the offensive line that Eli Manning had throughout his last couple of years, they would be furious and either request their trade or tell them that they need to fix the line now. Eli Manning was just, silent, and he had a great career, but then it just fell off, right? Because this organization failed him. That's the only thing that I really didn't like about Eli Manning. And that's him being a nice guy too. So that's something that I kind of love about him, but at the same time I hate it because I want you to be kind of an asshole when stuff doesn't go your way, But that's all I had to say. Like I said, I'm about to pop off. Thank you for having me on. Y'all show is
appreciate it.
It's
really
always
great.
good to talk with you.
Not gonna lie, Mac and Adam and Zion, I gotta get to y'all, and even Rodney, I gotta get to you about having on my Get Back show when I do get it. When stuff gets more popping because we're about to get the off season, so probably going free agency and stuff. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Anytime. But Levance, man. Yes, sir. What's going on, Rodney?
Hey, I'm gonna have to hop off myself, but hey, man.
Oh man, thanks for stopping by, Rodney, man.
Rodney, man,
brother.
You are awesome.
Appreciate you holding it down.
That's what I tell you. Nah, no problem at all. Y'all ain't gotta thank me for popping on, man. Trust me, I love doing this.
Best substitute teacher ever.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because Hey,
We
man, you
appreciate
popped
you,
on
bro.
our show. We're excited to
Yep.
have you. You're a great guy, man.
Yep.
You got the voice for radio. Let's get that voice out there, people. He's going to be your jams master, Rodney, on the ones and twos. The ones and
Yeah,
twos.
check him out. Subscribe to the Big Blue Corner, man. He's up and coming. He's just launching his channel, man. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Big Blue Corner, man. Rodney definitely knows his stuff, man. Thank you for once again, Rodney, for stopping through, bro.
No
Really
problem, Mac.
appreciate it, man.
Not a problem, Mac. I greatly appreciate y'all guys having me on. So, Ash, I'm sorry, Ash already left. Shoot, I was going to speak to him real quick. But Zion, Jeff, AC, always a pleasure. Mac, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on,
Oh
man.
man,
Have a
You're
good night,
very
Rodney.
welcome.
man.
Bro, appreciate you.
Anytime, my friend.
All
was
right,
Absolutely.
gonna
y'all
say-
take it easy, man.
All right, brother.
All right.
Levance, man. If you as a matter of fact, Levance, you want to see something pretty cool, man? If you go to my channel, scroll all the way down to the very first video I ever uploaded. It's me at the Hall of Fame ceremony at the parade.
Oh,
Me at the
Hey.
parade, the Hall of Fame parade that weekend. Michael Strahan riding up the street,
Let's
and he
go.
literally pointed me out in the crowd. He saw me because I was smiling so hard. He could see my big ass. He could see my big
Let's
ass gap
go.
in my teeth, and he was like, "I like the gap. I like the gap," pointing right at me, bro.
whoa,
Word.
that's a memory,
Word.
man. That's awesome.
That's
Word.
a gap
So
on
cool.
gap respect.
That's awesome.
I have a little
So,
gap too, but Mac, that is the best story I've heard in a long time.
That's
But,
awesome, man.
But we're gonna get into the next topic, fellas, and guess what time it is?
WWE.
I was holding out for you, Zion, man.
Appreciate it. I may have different takes from you guys. Real fast, I just wanted to say, I used to hate him, and then he did that to the Falcons. So, man, he's the GOAT. I can't go on. I can't say nothing less, man. He's the GOAT, and hopefully you have a good retirement, Tom Brady. Let's get it.
See you on the
Royal
golf course.
Wumble. See you on Royal
What the
Wumble.
hell was that we watched?
I know that you guys are more avid than I am because I'm slowly getting back into it. And I absolutely liked it. I know CJ and I was talking to some other guys that absolutely hated it. I would love to hear your guys' takes. The only thing I didn't like is I didn't like just the lame storyline of like Roman's just snapped. Like now he said the code and now he snapped and now it's a different Roman. Like what is this? Like what's going on there? You know what I'm saying? And Finn Balor wasn't in the Royal Rumble, and what the hell happened to Alexa Bliss? So that's what I was super mad at. And Drew McIntyre should have won that match because I don't know. I know he was just the champion, but I kind of feel like they just had it Brock because Brock's the money grab and he gets the money. And of course, you want to promote Brock because he's the highest paying superstar in the sport, I think. And you want him, he's the money bag. He gets the money. But I just believe that since I'm newer and I don't really know who Drew McIntyre is, I just like the way he puts his sword in the ground. Really, that's why I like him. His entrance is awesome. And he can wrestle too. And I just feel like, I don't care. Like they were, I looked at it like, thanks WWE. You gave the AJ Styles 30 minutes in the in the Royal Rumble. I guess
you got eliminated by who's that guy?
Exactly. I guess that counts for Hall of Fame stats. Well,
Midway Moss or something?
Yeah, like why you disrespecting AJ Styles like that? Like I don't care. Like okay, add 30 minutes to his Hall of Fame stats. You know what I'm saying? He was in the Royal Rumble. Now I don't know. Like it's ours now, but at the same time, it's like okay, and you bring back Ronda, and like for me as a UFC fan, like bro, like Ronda, just stop it, just stop.
Well,
I don't like.
I'll be honest with you.
Hyping up Ronda so much, and I'm gonna sit back and listen, and I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I was watching the Royal Rumble, at first I thought like, why are there not more matches going on before the Rumble? Because before they had the Women's Royal Rumble, there used to be like cool matches prior to the actual Royal Rumble. So I realized what the problem was. It was the Women's Royal Rumble that took place, and I'm like, oh, that's why I don't get like the Intercontinental title being defended or something crazy storyline. I get the Women's Royal Rumble, which was interesting. I mean, I liked all the matches. I thought it was crazy that Roman Reigns went out first. I thought Seth Rollins gave him a run for his money, but of course, You know how that is. They want him to retain the title. I thought the title was going to change hands. I really thought that Seth had a shot. That would have been cool to see because I'm over Roman Reigns being the title holder. It's like Triple H back in the mid 2000s. The dude won like 13 titles, and you're like every night Triple H has the belt. You're like, this is boring. You know what I mean?
It's like when John Cena had his one too.
And
John,
Batista.
exactly.
Right. Well,
Batista.
I don't mind you winning a lot of titles in like every few months. I just don't want you to hold it for like a year and a half, 2 years.
I forgot about this. I absolutely loved Seth Rollins opening the way he came down like the Shield.
Oh,
I
Shield,
loved
yeah,
that.
that
was amazing. That was amazing.
That I
And also
enjoyed.
too, it's like, why didn't Randy win the fucking Royal Rumble? Like,
That's
come
what I'm
on.
saying. Like they had all these guys. Like when Ronda
I got
Rousey
Nugget to drop too.
when Ronda Rousey's music hit, I'm like, yo, this bitch is winning because
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. There was no doubt about it. There was two things were going to happen with that. Either A, there was going to be some storyline where she gets thrown out by like Charlotte Flair, or something happens,
Some
and you knew
babyface.
she's going to be in WrestleMania regardless of the win. But it was obviously she won. And then when Brock Lesnar came out, somebody called it CJ from Talking Sports, whatever his
Yeah,
channel is.
CJ.
I'm sorry, I'm butchering that right now, but
You're fine.
he said the same thing. He said Brock Lesnar would lose, which he did, which was again distraction by Roman Reigns. Way to go, Roman. Way to interfere in somebody else's match. And then he comes out, and you knew that once his music hit, it was over. I mean, they had Drew McIntyre as one of the top 4, and I thought it was going to win. I'm like, oh man, maybe McIntyre can do it because there's so many different storylines you can do. But obviously, and you know what doesn't make any sense to me with Brock Lesnar, when you did that thing with Roman Reigns, you don't need to have him win the Royal Rumble. You already know that that's going to be locked in because he's coming. You just cost him the
Enough said. Close
But
story. We want to tune in. We want to tune in to Monday Night Raw. You don't need to make him win. And plus, when he comes in, why does he have to eliminate everybody? Like, he eliminated everybody.
Too. Ronda Rousey didn't need to win the Rumble either.
But this is what I'm talking about with WWE in general. Here it is. This is my biggest problem with WWE. I wish that they would hire me to work on their creative team and write some of these storylines, man. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my biggest problem with WWE is the storylines are stale and they're predictable. Shout out to Wells, man. Thank you, Wells, man. I appreciate that you had a good time on that stream because I did too, man. And I'm gonna be doing a lot more of those like that. I'm not gonna be able to do Elimination Chamber because I'll be working, and that's just gonna be like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be working. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be able to do that.
I ain't trying to get fired for no damn.
I'm always down. I'm always down to come on your channel. We'll do a reaction video though after.
But I'll definitely be WrestleMania when it comes back around. I'll be definitely on WrestleMania again. That'll be I'm talking about both nights, so I'll be doing it Saturday and Sunday night. But
man, that's crazy. WrestleMania 2 night.
But anyway, like I was saying, their storylines are just too predictable. Like you said, I was disappointed Alexa Bliss wasn't even in the Rumble. I was disappointed about that enough. But then it's like you said, once I found out Ronda Rousey was in it, it's like already a foregone conclusion that she's going to win it because Ronda Rousey's not coming back to not win. You know what I mean? It's just it's just
but
so
Mac,
predictable.
You could have done storylines. There's ways in the Rumble where I've seen over the years where you could have a guy come out and hit you with a chair or something like that, and it's like that storyline is going to build. Roman Reigns. What's the point of Roman Reigns coming out? Why not just have Bobby Lashley win clean, right? And then he goes into the Rumble. That would have made more sense. No. You brought out Roman Reigns to super punch him or whatever the heck he did. He gets pinned by Bobby Lashley. Lashley's the title holder. And now in my eyes, I'm like, Brock Lesnar's not coming out. Why would he need to come out? He's already locked in. He's going for that title regardless. Now I'm looking at the Rumble as who's going to fight Lesnar. Well, I mean, not Lesnar, Lashley. And then Brock Lesnar comes out and you're like, dude, we already know you hate Roman Reigns. You don't even need. You could have came out on SmackDown and like, yo, Roman, you don't even need. You know what you could have done? You could have had a bum win the Rumble, right, and get beat by Brock Lesnar and lose his title shot at the Rumble to Brock Lesnar because he could have been like, oh, Lesnar got screwed, then he screws over the number one contender, then bang, you have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar just beat the person who won the Rumble. If you wanted to do that, you could have Austin Theory win the Royal Rumble, say that he's going after Roman Reigns, get beat down by Brock Lesnar, take his number one contendership for, the title in WrestleMania, and you could have still done that. There's so many ways you could have done that. And you waste the opportunity on Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too, because, I haven't got the chance to talk wrestling with you guys yet. And I've been a hardcore wrestling fan for years. I've been following the WWE since the 90s. And the reason why I have really just fallen out of favor with the WWE especially, they don't push new stars. They're too busy pushing the same people over and over and over again, like Roman
Yes, they
Reigns,
squash
Seth
a lot of people.
Rollins, Randy Orton, Charlotte
Another
Flair,
big problem
Sasha
I have.
Banks, Bailey. It's sickening. And the problem
Because
with
McMahon
Vince
is scared.
Vince McMahon's because he's afraid that the people are going to leave.
No, he's scared. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to take you back off that point. That's another one of my pet peeves with WWE, man. Like, you keep shoving the same guys down our throat. You're not all these other people, all these other talents you have on the roster. They're busting their ass. They're working just as hard. The fact that these are predetermined like finishes and storylines, other people deserve a chance too. Other people are working their tails off.
Absolutely.
Like we don't need to see 16-time world champions. I just don't feel like that needs to be
like
a
Goldberg.
thing.
What is his geriatric ass doing?
Yeah,
like go back to the retirement home.
I look at someone like I don't really know his history, but I know he's been around for a long time. So I don't know. He probably held the title once, if that. But like someone like Dolph Hitler. What's his name?
Dolph Ziggler.
You know, how about Bobby Rhodes? Bobby Rhodes had a. I don't know what he's doing nowadays. I know he was in.
He's been a world title holder.
Why did Bobby Rhodes change his song? That's the only reason why I like Bobby Rhodes. Like Glorious. Why does he not come out to Glorious?
Oh, Bobby Roode?
Bobby Roode, yeah.
Listen. Dolph Ziggler is like he's getting jobs. He's like the modern day Shawn Michaels. Dolph Ziggler. If you watch him, he's got the same kind of pants, same kind of charisma, same kind of attitude.
My bad.
The problem is Vince McMahon has his guys. Okay, that's what he has. You watch AEW, they don't care who the title holder is. They'll put it on, a beanpole if they wanted to. I mean, that's what makes it so much fun, and that's what made it fun in the '90s and in the Attitude Era because Vince McMahon was a part of it, and you didn't know who the hell was coming out. And you had Stone Cold stunning everybody in the back, hitting people with a Zamboni full of beer and shit.
One they all made.
But
the
here's
Rock,
the thing too, though.
The era that he came through. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, I think the biggest reason why WWE also had to change is because look at what they have. They're a corporation now. They have sponsors they have to look up to. They have stockholders they have to look up to. AEW, they don't have to worry about that. They're more of a family-style company, so they don't have to worry about pushing this guy, pushing that guy, and getting any flack for it. So Tony Khan's allowed to, have a little bit more room to push a guy he thinks has a chance to become their new star, whereas WWE might be forced by stockholders and all these other people, higher ups that say we want Roman Reigns on TV, we want Sasha Banks on TV,
we're losing ratings.
Back, Goldberg, all these people, but they're losing ratings from the casual fans, like our age group, from the 18 to 49 who have gravitated over to AEW, but they're not marketing us anymore. They passed our generation. They're going towards little kids now. They're going towards the
but they have nobody that's kid friendly. Like John Cena was a Fruity Pebble. He had everything going for him. He had headbands, he had t-shirt.
I think also to that point, Jeff. I think,
but who's to me? I feel like WWE has an identity crisis because they don't know whether to be hardcore.
This is what it is, Adam. This is what it is, Adam. I'm not trying to I'm a hardcore of that sport, the UFC. So I'm not trying to be mean here, but I was a hardcore WWE fan, and I transitioned probably around ninth or 10th grade into watching the UFC hardcore because I watched the UFC secondary and I watched the WWE hardcore. I made that transition, and the UFC now they're taking a lot of fans from all over the sports world. I'm not only talking about the WWE. I'm talking about boxing. I'm talking about a lot of things. I think a part of it too, you see it, where you see it. And I used to watch the WWE. People on the announcers used to not call what they're in. You see them put in an arm board. You clearly see that okay, he's not really squeezing his arm. The announcer's calling he's running in triangle. Bro, that's not a triangle. That's not a triangle. So they're trying to get to hip with all this grappling and what the UFC is doing. But the thing is, they shouldn't have done that because they're multi. If not, they were probably made billions already. You know what I'm saying? And they just needed to stay themselves. They let the outside world influence them, and now it's just a pile of. I like it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm getting back into it. But at the end of the day,
Monday Night Wars,
social media.
That was the peak.
Yeah.
Monday Night Wars was the peak of the wrestling time
Yep.
because you had
Yep.
Hulk Hogan on one side, was on one side. Now he's the leader of the NWO, one of the best factions in all of wrestling history, going up against G Generation X, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, the Undertaker and The Rock. Like those guys were the faces. And when you watch the Attitude Era, like go back and watch that Undertaker Mick Foley match. I'm telling you, you will get goosebumps when you see him.
They were
Hell in a
winning,
Cell.
Adam. They were
Hell in a Cell,
winning.
King of the Ring, 1998. Yep.
They have different story writers. They were winning. Now, if you look at the champions, Bobby Lashley went over to MMA. He made the transition to MMA. He fought in MMA. He only lost, I think, twice. He's like 14-2. Then he made the transition back, and they talk about that when they promote him. Brock Lesnar, he came, he won the title against washed people. Then he got his ass beat, and he had to retire, so he went back to WWE. I'm not saying that MMA is a superior sport. All I'm saying is the WWE warriors need to stop getting inspired by MMA. That's just different. Just do what's best and what worked for them back in the 90s.
But now that we know that it's fake or predetermined, as Max says, the thing is that when you watch a soap opera or a reality TV show, you're waiting for that wow moment, that craziness, right? Back in the day, for me, it was Jeff Hardy doing a swanton bomb off the freaking entrance ramp of the Madison Square Garden, locker room entrance. That was through tables onto the Dudley Boys. That's like, oh my God, right? When JR calls, Mankind falling from the top of the ring, he's like, as God is my witness, he's broken in half. I can't do it justice, but go back and listen to it. They're part of the mystique of it. The problem is when you get stale and you put a title on Triple H because you have nobody else or you don't trust anybody else. You put a title on John Cena. I mean, that guy has 17,000. I mean, Ric Flair did it back in the day when they actually had less territory. So it made sense to put the belt on Ric Flair because he was a moneymaker. Right now, you have all these guys who do more than John. I mean, John Cena had no moveset. I mean, his move used to be called the STFU, but now it's called the Attitude Adjustment because we went from being rugged to now we want to have popcorn with our wrestlers now. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, John Cena, they need marketability now. I feel like they're all over the place. Roman Reigns is cool, but I mean. To me, his story, maybe the kids, it's nice, but to me, the story is just stupid. Every time your brothers or cousins need to help you out, makes you look weak. You're this jacked dude. You're supposed to be spearing people like what Edge does, spear people. He's the skinniest guy, but he's walking out spearing people out of nowhere. That's what I want to see you do. I don't need you to have your goons come out and help you win a title because to me, that just cheapens it. You're not a goon guy, right? You're not.
But WWE's biggest problem right now, honestly, is kind of a problem I feel like the Giants have been having. Hopefully it can change, but it's the owner, man, Vince McMahon, straight up. Because
Nick Khan
because Vince McMahon, he has this thing of he has this image of what a champion is, and he's basically shitting on all the other talent he has on his roster.
Braun Strowman.
If you're not like some big steroid looking fucking freak of nature looking dude, you shouldn't be the champion according to Vince McMahon. Like you got like a lot of good young talent. I mean, you got like the Ricky Jays of the world. Like, but okay, an example of this right quick. Let me like for instance, when Kofi Kingston had Kofi Mania, he had the title. It was a good little run. Nobody was expecting Kofi Kingston to beat Brock Lesnar when he had to defend the title against Brock Lesnar. But why do you have to make Kofi Kingston get absolutely squashed in like 8 seconds? Like, you know what I mean? What disrespectful shit is that? And then the same thing,
Bray Wyatt, man.
And do the same thing to Bianca Belair at SummerSlam when Becky Lynch came back. Okay, I get it. You want to put the title back on Becky because she never really lost it because she had to give it up when she got pregnant. Okay, that's fine. But let them have a decent match and put on a show for the fans. Why come out there and allow Becky Lynch to just squash Bianca Belair and take that title away from her also in just mere seconds?
Like, see, that would have been cooler if Ronda Rousey did it. Now, if Ronda Rousey did it, I could be like, yo, that woman beats people up in like 8 seconds. I get it. Right? To have Becky Lynch do it was kind of forced to me. Yeah, like Bianca Belair was kind of doing well. You know, she had some matches. I mean, is she a marquee?
Sasha put out an incredible performance at WrestleMania.
Oh, Sasha Banks was, whew, man, don't get me started with
That
the
was
boss.
too. That's what I wanted to mention WrestleMania. But I
The
just want
boss
to say this
time
real quickly. You guys
just
know who
melts
was
my
supposed
heart.
to actually win the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble? Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle was supposed to be the original winner of the Royal Rumble. They changed it up to Brock Lesnar because of the whole Roman Reigns storyline. So Matt Riddle was originally supposed to be the winner. I read that online. I went
Well,
afterwards after the pay-per-view.
that would have worked because you would have had him face probably Bobby Lashley for the WWE title.
No,
But maybe that
the Elimination Chamber. You would have Orton win the Elimination Chamber, then they split up, and then they were going to have a title program with Riddle and Orton, and Riddle goes over Orton at WrestleMania, and then you have your new star in Riddle gets the championship. That's how it's supposed to be done, because you know Riddle and Orton are splitting soon. So Orton gets the title at the Elimination Chamber, takes it off Lashley. Lashley gets eliminated by somebody, like maybe Goldberg comes back surprisingly and takes him out because you know that program's got to keep going. And then Orton eventually wins the Rumble or wins the Elimination Chamber and the title. And then he's realized, I don't need Matt Riddle anymore. So he's going to eventually, betray him. And then Riddle is going to be trying. He's going to be like, the confused Matt Riddle look, and then he's going to
I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that has, because you guys probably didn't watch. I actually was sitting here watching Raw the whole goddamn time we've been doing this. We've been doing this podcast tonight.
anything interesting, because usually the Raw after Rumble is pretty good. Is the crowd into it?
And there, I have an Elimination Chamber spoiler. I don't want to spoil it though. If you guys
No.
watch it for yourself. So
not on this show.
Y'all check it out for yourselves, man.
We will not do that here. Listen, I know I'm a dork for watching it, but let's move on to the last topic because it's getting late. I'm getting tired. My bags are
going to say the same thing, Adam. I support the call.
I appreciate you guys letting me on the show too. Thank you.
Oh, anytime, Jeff.
Man, we got one last topic, and this is a kind of a fun one. And I wish we had more people in the chat for this. We probably should have did it earlier when we had more people in the chat. But predictions, man, guys. Who you guys like for league MVPs, defensive player of the year, coach of the year? You can add on any other awards you want to talk about.
All right, let's just go down the list real quick. So, what is the first one?
Go for the MVP.
Offensive or defensive?
Well, fast, Nate. Nate's gonna call it on his channel, and then I'm gonna do that Izzy fight on my channel, Bills. Nate talks sports. He's gonna call that fight night.
Okay.
So I guess we're talking MVP of the offense.
League MVP, just league MVP in general. Like,
I'm gonna throw a curveball at everybody right now, and I'm gonna go with my man Joe Cool. Joe Burrow, MVP. Look what he's done with that Bengals team. And if they win the Super Bowl, put it in his back pocket because he will not only be the league MVP, but he'll be the Super Bowl MVP. I'm going out like that. That's my hot take.
His squad, if you're still in the chat, if you want to jump back on and tackle this question, I don't know what the hell that is.
What is this?
Whoa, what is that?
I'm gonna get him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's a. I don't know if that's just another language. I know that's another language, but I don't know if that's regular words, if that's spam.
It's spam. 1941, 1921, 1948. Looks like dates of some sort.
Yeah, let's get
it. I don't know what the heck that is. So, because I don't know.
Yeah, we move them block.
Because you don't know, you got to go.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to throw out there for an MVP, and it's going to be another wild card, but I think the guy deserves it. Cooper Kupp. Because of the type of season
I was going to say Cooper, yeah, but I thought about that, Jeff, but then I'm like, he had 145 balls.
Yeah, but come on. When have you ever seen a wide receiver have that kind of season? It's been a long time since a wide receiver has gone off like that. I think if there's any time a wide receiver should win that MVP award, it's this year. Because of what Cooper Kupp did with that team. So
you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to change off Joe Burrow, but that was a great one.
Absolutely.
Zion Mack?
Well, I like both of you. I like both of you guys' selections already, and I would love to see that happen. Here's my thing about Cooper Kupp, man. Unfortunately, just like the Heisman Trophy for the most part, the MVP award, he might as well just chalk it up for a quarterback, man. So that's unfortunately just about takes out any other position. And it's unfortunate. Cooper Kupp has legitimately had an MVP season, man.
He should be there. He should be the guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Joe Burrow, I would love to see that kid get one too. But I just feel like the league's gonna do what they always do, and they're just gonna turn around and get that award back to Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, he did also have a phenomenal year, but feel like that's what we're going to end up seeing in that the league. They're just going to end up it's going to be a cop out. It's just so easy to say, well, we'll just give it to Aaron Rodgers again, man. Make him feel okay about himself again for a little bit. Let's stroke his ego a little bit more. I think
Blue City Empire Sports is saying that Bobby Johnson's being hired as the O-line coach. We'll have to confirm that.
He is being hired by the O-line.
It's official now? Is it official now? Okay.
Yeah, the Giants
Breaking
will be
news.
The O-line coach from Bills, Bobby Johnson.
Breaking news here. That's why we stay on these old guys.
Thanks for that, Blue City Empire. What you guys eye on MVP, man?
I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go.
It is official.
I don't know if that's possible though. I was gonna. I never really gave this much thought, and I'm really just looking at stats right now. And I knew who had a good year, but I'm just reaffirming. Okay, I have two people in mind, and I don't know if one will count because they didn't make the playoffs. So I was gonna say Derrick Henry.
I mean, I would agree with you, but he didn't play that. Got injured this year.
No. Why did I say Derrick Henry? I'm sorry. Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh,
yes.
I was going to say.
Yes,
I don't know why I said. Sorry. Jonathan Taylor. Absolutely. I believe he had 2,000 yards from scrimmage. He had like 1,800 rushing. Someone can fact check me on that. I could be wrong. But so I have Jonathan Taylor, and if not Jonathan Taylor, people might hate me, but I have Tom Brady.
Great. No. And Tom Brady, that's an obvious choice. But I like Jonathan Taylor.
Defensive. I'll go first on this one. I don't know because I wasn't really paying attention to him for the past weeks, 14 to 18. But the last time I checked, that he plays for the opponent. But I just think that Michael Parsons had an amazing year. I don't know where he finished yet, but I have to go look at the stats, but I'll probably have him for my defensive player of the year for now.
I'll go TJ Watt.
I was TJ Watt. TJ Watt.
TJ Watt has damn near broke the sack record. Yeah, I like what Michael Parsons did. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but the sack record was almost broken.
That's true.
I'm on the TJ Watt train as well. TJ Watt had a tremendous year, and he had an injury. He had an injury at one point where I thought he was going to be done for the season. He just came right back. And the season strong as ever, man.
We had a chance to draft that guy. We drafted Evan Ingram, but that's all. We could have one of the best pass rushers in the game. All right, what's next?
TJ had 2.5. That's amazing.
Nick Bosa was a sleeper guy too because he had a tremendous year in San Francisco.
Who y'all got for
22 and a half sacks, man. I mean, come on.
No. It's hard to beat TJ Watt.
I mean, I think Strahan even won Defensive Player of the Year when he did that. So, I mean, you got to give it to him because I know he had an extra game, but, we can get into semantics later. That's still a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Who you guys like for Coach of the Year?
I like the Bengals coach.
Zach Taylor, yeah.
Zach Taylor,
I mean, like, a lot of people call him like the whole. I know it's the GM, but it's him. It's a collaboration.
Going a different way on you guys.
A lot of people call him crazy for taking more chase and all that kind of stuff, but it seemed to pan out. And plus, too, like I just think that nobody expected the Bengals to be in the place that they are right now.
I mean, it's a good choice, but I'm going a different direction. Joe
Judge.
I gotta go. 100%. That's a hard no. That's a very hard no. But, I'm going with Mike Vrabel, man, because this guy, his team, I mean, you lost your best player. You flat out lost your best player. And then you also lost a couple of your other key players as well along the way.
Jones
Missed a lot of time. AJ Brown, Jones. I mean, and you held this team together. You held this team together, and they went out there. They still managed to get the first seed in the AFC. Sure, it didn't work out for them. I mean, they ended up losing Cincinnati in their divisional round. But the fact that this team was able to hold it together, still and hold it down without their best player and get the number one seed in the conference with teams like the Chiefs and the Bengals playing the way they were. I mean,
appreciate that, Blue City.
The Buffalo Bills. Mike Vrabel really held that team together, and that's one of my biggest keys. What I always talk about: next man up. they just kept bringing
That's
players
the
from
definition of next man up.
out of wherever.
But that goes to show you about coaching.
Exactly, because people kept talking about trying to say, "Oh, those running backs that they were playing with, oh, these guys were all good." Nobody knew who those guys were. Nobody
They
knew who
were
those
flipping
guys were
burgers.
at all. So people were like, people were always kept trying to say, "Oh, these guys were good college players." Well, everybody in the NFL was a good college player,
right?
So,
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
So
Matt, I got some good ones too for around the table. Offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Easy ones: Jamar Chase and Marco Parsons.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
easy for me.
yeah,
Hands down,
absolutely.
hands down.
And comeback player of the year. I'm going Nick Bosa.
I'm going with Dak Prescott on that still. I think I gotta still get that one to Dak, man. I know it's hard to
I
sit
gotta
there
give that to Dak too, though.
and
Realistically, yeah.
I was thinking
NFL fan hat on, you know.
No, I'm gonna say Jimmy Garoppolo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say that. He was injured, right? So he would be a comeback player, but no.
You know, on it.
You know, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Joe Burrow.
I would probably
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. That's right. I'll do Joe Burrow because he got injured. Yes,
he qualified though?
He injured his knee 2020.
Yep.
He come back to take his team to the Super Bowl. I think that's a trifecta. And league MVP, Super Bowl
MVP, did he miss last season,
and
though?
comeback player of the year.
But did he play last season?
That got hurt significantly earlier in the year than Joe Burrow did. I feel like
I believe.
Listen, man, if you guys want Dak Prescott, that's fine. I'm taking Joe
Burrow. No. I would love it if Joe Burrow wins it.
Don't put that on me. I'm just answering the question to the best of my ability.
I'm not trying to
come up no Dallas Cowboys here. You know
I wanted to be talking about Barkley and Galladay this time of the year. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's all good. There's always next time.
They're one football season away from flipping cheeseburgers too. So. So what's the next question? I think we did offensive, defensive. What was? I think you had a couple more.
The coach. No, well, that's all I had. I mean, if you guys want to talk about any other potential awards that might be coming up,
I guess we could do. Coach of the year. Did we do coach of the year, or did we just?
Yeah. Well, Jeff, did you give us a coach of the year? Actually, I don't remember you giving us a coach.
Yeah, I'm going with Zach Taylor too. I mean,
okay.
Zach Taylor. The Cincinnati Bengals.
You guys are all on the Zach Taylor train.
That would be.
I'm on the Mike Favre train on that.
I am going to go with my prediction, and this is how I'm going to leave it. I am predicting the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I know that's not a real good prediction, but that's how I'm leaving this stream. I'm just leaving it because you know what? If they don't win, great, But to me, it's just they're a team of destiny right now. And sometimes when you have a team of destiny, like look how they won their games, right? Their first game. They were in. They played it. They played a heck of a game, but it was still a close football game. The game against Tennessee. They were in that game, and Joe Burrow rose above it. And in this game, even though Joe Burrow's stats don't look it, he played exceptionally well. Where that team came back in the game. I mean, you don't understand when you have a momentum going like this. Sometimes you just got to get out the way. And I know and to me, the Rams. I like the Rams, but they seem to struggle a little bit. They need to be kind of like woken up. So they need to get after Burrow early and for them to win this game. Because if not, Burrow's going to carve up that secondary. I don't care if they have Deion Sanders back there. I just think Burrow is on fire. So that's me. That's my take. Rest of you guys.
I'm gonna go quickly. I'm gonna go Bengals as well. I think Bengals are gonna win the game. They seem like that team of destiny. Like nobody's gonna stand in their way. And I think Burrow's on a mission. That kid's got ice in his veins, the way he's playing right now, that nobody is going to stop that kid from getting that trophy and bringing it back to Cincinnati, who we all know has been the most tortured NFL franchise for so long. They used to be the ass of every joke for years. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Bungles. Everybody used to call them the Bungles, the team that had more rests some years than they did
even
actually
more
wins
than
in the season.
That's how bad they were.
Yeah, they were a joke for so many years, and it's just crazy that this team is now. I never thought in my lifetime I'd ever see the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl, but here we are. So I think they're going to win it all, and I'm going with one or two players as my surprise MVPs. I'm going with Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard, the defensive ends, because they've both been playing really well. Both of them have stepped it up, their game, since they got in the playoffs. Hubbard got 2 big sacks against Kansas City. Hendrickson's been a beast since he's come over from the New Orleans Saints. So I think one of those two guys, because pass rushers sometimes come out of nowhere and have those games. So I'm going with Hendrickson or Hubbard as the MVP.
Good stuff.
I think the Bengals, obviously, they deserve to be in this game. We've seen them in the playoffs. Nobody was really talking about them at the beginning of the year. Like Jeff said, you know what I'm saying? In my lifetime, too, I never thought I'd see this. Obviously, that connection, the LSU connection. But I usually like to take the underdogs, but I just think that Sean McVay and his team is ready for this game, more prepared than the last time. I had picked the Rams versus the Bills before the season started. So I have to stick with the Rams. I don't have to, but I like to stick with the Rams. I just think that
that team's in there. You stick with that team.
Absolutely. I've actually said the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl before the season started, and I still do believe that, because although Joe Burrow could make something happen, I know him and Chase got it going, but I'm just thinking about the pass rush, and if the pass rush shows up, it might be a long night for him. And you got Cooper Kupp and OBJ and just so much ripping. So it's Matthew Stafford. Don't make mistakes.
Going against Eli Apple.
Have a good game, and the Rams will be victorious. But no matter what, I don't want to see either team abandon on the one game. I like to see a good, solid football game with running and passing. But I'm gonna have the Rams edging it with the victory by 7, not by a lot.
Well, I am also going with the Cardiac Cats, man. The Cardiac Cats 2.0, baby. Is what
Cardiac Cats, baby.
And that's what this team is. They are, like Adam said, an absolute, I just feel like a team of destiny. The ball just keeps bouncing in their direction, man. And it's not by just dumb luck. It's because a young man named Joe Burrow that refuses to lose. He will not be denied. He is the Rocky Balboa of the NFL right now. He just won't be denied, bro. You can hit him with your best shot, and he's going to keep getting back up, and he's going to give you a better shot. That's what Joe Burrow been doing these whole playoffs. He is absolutely cooking, and I just can't count the Bengals out. I don't care if they're playing in SoFi, in the Rams home stadium. It doesn't.
They just went to Arrowhead. Arrowhead. You know how difficult it is to do that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This team is just. I can't count this team out, and I can't go against this team. So I like the Bengals in this one to win their first Super Bowl.
And Matt just made me think of a point too. I love all of you guys' points, but there's this quarterback that's been stuck in Michigan for quite a long time. He's always been one of the best quarterbacks in the game, but he's just been stuck in Michigan for a really long time. Go get yours, Matthew Stafford. Let's get it.
Here, I got this one. There's only one Jalen Ramsey, and there's 3 great receivers on that Bengals team. Who's covering T. Higgins? Who's covering Tyler Boyd? Who's stopping Joe Mixon? You got to think about that too, because you could take out Chase. You got Higgins, who can go off for 100. You got Boyd, who can go off for 100. You got Mixon, who could truck you. And if they get Uzama back in the Super Bowl,
Chase can go for 200.
Chase can go for 200, exactly. Higgins can go for 150. He's done it before. Boyd can go over 100.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a bomb from Burrow to Chase in this game. Probably down the left or right sideline. I mean, I just think they're going to load it up and air it out. They're going to take a chance.
That's why it's up to.
Don't be surprised if you see a bomb to OBJ over Eli Apple, because you're going to see that too.
The way I'm looking at it is like the way I see the Rams winning. Matthew Stafford can't make mistakes, has to have a solid game, and the defensive guys got to get to Joe Burrow. I know he has escapability. I know he can run. We've seen it in the Kansas City game. The guy refuses to lose. It's just different. It's a different D-line.
What do you guys think is the key matchups? I'm going with the Bengals O-line against that.
Well, look, guys, remember we got 2 weeks to be breaking this down, man.
Right. It's time for me to go to bed.
We gotta save something. We gotta save something for next week, baby. And I am absolutely exhausted myself, and we do need to get ready to wrap this up. You guys have any final thoughts, man?
I just wanted to say thank you guys all. Adam, if you don't mind taking this next week, and I'll probably appear the same time, if not sooner. If Mac wants to continue it on this channel, we're more than welcome to do that. I'm just gonna skip my channel for next week as well. And make sure if you guys want all the latest Giants news, UFC news, anything like that, just sub up to Zion Zenith and sub up to all these amazing content creators here. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Got anything, Adam? Or Jeff?
I'm just going to say the same thing. Just sub up to all these amazing Giants content creators. It's a pleasure for me to be able to come up and chop it up with you guys. I really appreciate it a lot. Make sure you guys sub up these 3 amazing Giant content creators. They're coming up in the game. They're going to be taking over. We appreciate all the love that you guys give. Not only these 3 guys, but the entire Big Blue crew and the Giants community. Keep it coming. Good days are ahead for the Giants. Let's keep it going, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wills.
You got any final thoughts? Thanks a lot, Wells. Do appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Wills.
I just want to say thanks to people watching. This is one of the best things I look forward to in my weeks, hanging out, talking sports, talking wrestling with just some guys like we're shooting the shit at work at the water cooler. Right, so hopefully you're enjoying that too. And this is what we do. We love football. This is the reason why we love sports from all walks of life. Zion's across the country. Mac, he's where he's at. Jeff, I don't know where you're from or where you live, but that doesn't matter. You're a Giant fan. You've come on, and the point is that everybody is embraced by this team and sports, and that's what we need to get out there. Is the message is to come together and do something that. To get your mind off the crazy world that we're living in right now. So if you can, subscribe to everybody on here. Again, thank you for coming out there. I have a show called The Hurry Up. It's really nothing fancy. If you like a guy with some sports takes, I try to think outside the box a little bit, give you a different set of ways to think, not the typical, hey, let's go with the mainstream media. Sometimes I have an outside the box take, which may make you open up your eyes to something you never saw. So that's how I look at it. That's basically the backbone of my show. And I love doing this with you guys. And thanks, Mac, for hosting. Thanks, Zion, for being you. Jeff, thanks for coming on and supporting. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Anytime.
You know me, I'm Mac the Giants fan. I got a couple things coming this all season. I'm working on getting together, starting to do a wrestling podcast where I'm going to be talking about not just WWE, but WWE, AEW, maybe throw a little impact in there. So whatever, just all wrestling talk. Guys will be definitely welcome to join me with that. I'm working on a name for the show. I got a few names. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to call it. So I actually should be coming out hopefully soon, next couple weeks or so, with a premiere episode.
Be ready by the WrestleMania.
I got that coming. So I appreciate everybody that came through in the chat tonight. Wells and Big
City
Wells,
Empire Sports,
Blue City Empire Sports, all the other people that's been in the chat all through the night, man. His squad. Thanks for holding it down earlier. Levance.
Rodney,
man.
Yes.
Great job tonight, man. Appreciate it, brother. Everybody else in the chat, man. Y'all know I love y'all, man. I appreciate this, man. And we're gonna just all keep growing, man. And see y'all next Monday with another episode of Premium Takes live on Adam's channel, I guess. That's where it's gonna be, man. That's how we gonna do it, man. With me, Adam, and Zion next Monday night, man. Talking a lot of Super Bowl talk. I'm going to be assuming.
We'll probably have a fun Super Bowl media, whatever is going on type of thing. Recap the Pro Bowl. Talk a little bit about the Senior Bowl that came up. Maybe some prospects that we're looking at. So it should be a fun show. Remember, it's on my channel, Adam Costas, The Hurry Up, YouTube. Check us out. We love y'all. Thanks a lot. And I'm out. I'm going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MACDA Giants Fan.